So dear participants, ladies and gentlemen, it is a real pleasure for us to welcome you here at the Global Forum on Policy Solutions for Family Farming. My name is Anna Korzemski, and it is a pleasure for me to moderate this opening session. You all probably know already that the UN Decade of Family Farming, the mission of the Decade of Family Farming is to support the development and the implementation of public policies, regulation, programs and investments for family farming. The decade urges us to create an enabling environment for family farming. And this enabling environment, to create it includes a very important thing, the design of the policies. So beside data collection, beside the commitment of governments, etc., we need to support the development and the implementation of public policies which are well targeted and really effective in supporting the farmers. They can simultaneously address environmental, economic, and social aspects of food systems, but also consider important aspects in relation to rural development. Developing these kind of policies, however, is not easy, right? So, since the beginning of the UN Decade of Family Farming, FAO has been working hard to develop various tools, programs, training programs, collect data in relation to family farming, and also we have been working hard to create opportunities for exchange, for the exchange of knowledge, that you all have on the ground in relation to these public policies. So this year we decided together FAO partnerships and UN collaboration division with colleagues and our good friends from the Regional Office of Latin America and the Caribbean, we decided to dedicate this year and to create an opportunity for these exchanges. We wanted to create opportunities when policymakers can talk to policymakers, when farmers can talk to farmers and policymakers and discuss the details of those kind of policies which are supporting them or which are not supporting them, how to improve them, what are good elements in these policies, why are they implemented, why are they not implemented, and so on. So we have started a long process. We have first met in Cairo, then went to Kathmandu, and then ended up this series of exchanges in Rome. With the exchange yesterday and the day before, and now we are happy. We finalized this year-long series of dialogues, and we are here at the Global Momentum. We gathered here to celebrate the conclusion of this year and to amplify conversation and to bring it to a global level. We are really pleased to see that the peer-to-peer exchanges are really effective and powerful tools, and we hope that we can confidently say that these year exchanges were really effective. Personally, myself, I have seen very, very interesting exchanges. I have felt that we are all learning from each other, and I really would like to thank you, for all of you, to invest in these moments. Today and tomorrow, the Global Forum will indeed support and amplify these exchanges. We will focus the first day on the environmental agenda, on resilience, on the access to natural resources, while on the second day we will focus on policy solutions in relation to the economic opportunities for family farming. Now, without further ado, I am pleased to launch a video message from Mr. Máximo Torero, the Chief Economist of FAO. Colleagues, please launch so we can open this global forum.
Distinguished representatives of governments, esteemed members of civil society, and delegates of international organizations. Welcome to the Global Forum on Policy Solutions for Family Farming. My name is Máximo Torero, and I am the Chief Economist of FAO. It is a privilege to join in the inauguration of the first edition of the Global Forum on Policy Solutions for Family Farming, organized as part of the activities of the Regional Technical Platform on Family Farming. As you know, this platform is part of a strategic network of regional mechanisms established by our Director General to foster collaboration and knowledge sharing. Coordinated by Regional Office of Latin America and the Caribbean, the Family Farming Platform promotes cooperation by offering multiple actors a space to exchange, innovate tools, and concrete experience that inform public policies, guide investments, and drive technical and institutional innovation in support of family farming. This platform also contributes to advancing the implementation of the United Nations Decade of Family Farming by connecting its different pillars and facilitating synergies among diverse stakeholders. It ensures that the perspective of governments, producers, organizations, academia, and other productive sectors are brought together. Within the framework of this global forum represents the conclusion of a series of 3 interregional dialogues organized during 2025. With the participation of more than 40 countries, these dialogues on family farming allow us to exchange ideas and initiatives and to identify innovative tools to support the family farming sector. In a world where rural areas remain especially vulnerable to extreme climate events that undermine productivity and food security, and where persistent inequalities continue to affect societies, particularly young people and women, restricting their opportunities and autonomy, family farming and smallholder production, of course, must be recognized as a fundamental pillar of rural economies and agri-food systems. It represents 90% of the world's 608 million farms, occupy around 70% of the farmland, and the whole family farming produces 80% of the world food in terms of value, and plays a vital role in preserving biodiversity, landscapes, and cultural heritage. Please note that family farming not only includes smallholders, it also includes medium and large holders, but which are driven by families. The Global Forum highlights once again the importance of the sector and identifies ways to strengthen it by reaffirming the role of dialogue, cooperation, and collective action, and recognizing the contribution of different regions in fostering innovation. We aim to showcase innovative approaches to design and implementing public policies and investments that enhance resilience, sustainability, and economic inclusion for family farming. We expect that this initiative will enable us to maintain dynamic and collaborative connections, facilitating access to resources and learning from the most impactful family farming experiences, as we are doing by connecting solutions from Latin America and the Caribbean, Asia and the Pacific, and Africa and the Near East and Europe. This is what we call South-South learning. We are really learning from each other to be able to accelerate the agri-food system transformation. At FAO, we reaffirm our commitment to support all regions in advantage and inclusive and resilient rural transformation. We hope this event marks a milestone in identifying priorities that guide our joint efforts. Let us continue this shared journey, learning, innovating, and working together to make family farming a foundation for a more sustainable, inclusive, and prosperous future for all. What we aim at the end is good food for all for today and tomorrow. And for that, we have to put emphasis in better production. That's where family farming, smallholder producers are, better nutrition, better environment, and better life for all, leaving no one behind. So thank you very much, and I wish you a great day, and I hope this meeting succeeds in bringing all the important evidence that is needed to accelerate this South-South cooperation. Thank you.
Thank you for Dr. Torero. And now I would like to invite you all to listen to the welcoming remarks of Her Excellency Ada Francisca de Aziz Hernandez Rivera. She is the ambassador and permanent representative of the Dominican Republic in Rome, and she is the chair of our International Steering Committee of the UN Decade of Family Farming. Excellency, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And good morning, everybody. Especialmente my Vice Minister Miriam, who is here from Dominican Republic. Hello. Well, es para mí un honor darles la más cordial bienvenida al Global Forum on Policy Solutions for Family Farming. Como presidenta del Comité Directivo Internacional del Decenio de las Naciones Unidas de la Agricultura Familiar, me complace compartir la apertura de este espacio de reflexión y de acción colectiva. El Decenio de las Naciones Unidas para la Agricultura Familiar, establecido por la resolución que todos ustedes conocen, mejor que yo, 239 de la Asamblea General de la ONU, nos invita a todos los estados a desarrollar mejorar e implementar políticas públicas que fortalezcan a los agricultores familiares, compartiendo experiencias y buenas prácticas en todo el mundo. La agricultura familiar tiene un impacto económico, social y ambiental fundamental. Produce alimentos, protege la agrobiodiversidad, garantiza la reproducción de los recursos naturales y constituye el verdadero tejido de nuestras sociedades rurales, transmitiendo conocimientos de generación en generación. Hoy podemos destacar importantes avances. 46 países ya han adoptado marcos nacionales o regionales de políticas para la agricultura familiar. Desde el 2019, más de 1.853 organizaciones de agricultores familiares, incluidas 770 de mujeres y 50 de jóvenes, se han sumado activamente a los procesos del diálogo. En este periodo se han aprobado 385 políticas, leyes y regulaciones en apoyo directo a la agricultura familiar. O sea, hemos avanzado bastante. Estos logros son alentadores, pero no son suficientes. Tras la revisión del medio término del decenio en el 2024 y con el impulso que traerá el Global Family Farming Forum el próximo mes de octubre, bueno, prácticamente ya aquí en Roma, iniciamos una nueva etapa en la que debemos consolidar, fortalecer y escalar todos los avances que hemos logrado, alineándolos con los objetivos de la Agenda 2030. El programa que hoy nos reúne refleja muy bien este camino. Ustedes vamos a discutir entre todos cómo aprovechar y reforzar la resiliencia y la sostenibilidad de la agricultura familiar. Cómo mejorar el acceso y gestión de los recursos naturales y cómo generar un entorno habilitante para la inclusión económica, aumentando el acceso a mercados y reduciendo desigualdades. Este foro que hoy iniciamos, es una oportunidad única para avanzar hacia soluciones de políticas innovadoras, superando enfoques sectoriales tradicionales y asegurando que las políticas respondan al contexto real y a los desafíos cotidianos que enfrentan nuestros agricultores familiares. Con este espíritu de cooperación y compromiso, les deseo a todos estas jornadas que nos quedan de un fructífero intercambio y me permiten concluir con una pequeña reflexión. La agricultura familiar no es solo parte del pasado y del presente de la humanidad, es también la semilla de un futuro más justo, más inclusivo y más sostenible. Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much, Ambassador, and thanks a lot for your continuous support with guiding us during the International Steering Committee of the Decade of Family Farming. Now I have the pleasure to hand over the floor to Kati Partanen. She's a board member of the World Farmers Organization. The World Farmers Organization is acting as the vice chair in the International Steering Committee. Thank you very much for the WFO to support us.
Thank you very much. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, colleagues, it's an honor to address you this morning at the opening of the Global Forum on Policy Solutions for Family Farming. Allow me first to extend my sincere gratitude to FAO for convening this important meeting and to my colleagues in the International Steering Committee of the UN Decade of Family Farming. Since the launch of the UN Decade of Family Farming, we have seen growing recognition of the essential role that family farmers play, not only in producing food, but also safeguarding biodiversity, protecting natural resources, and sustaining rural communities. The World Farmers Organization has been proud to contribute to this endeavor, serving as a vice chair of the International Steering Committee and working alongside governments, institutions, and fellow farmers' organizations to implement the Global Action Plan. As mentioned here in the opening words already by Anna, is that the policies are creating an enabling environment for family farming, and it's really, really important to pay attention on what we aim to achieve with the policies. They set the operating environment for farming. It can guide to sustainability, it can guide to the whole food system, but it always has to take into account the local circumstances. And as farmers, we operate in the markets, in input markets and product markets, but the operating environment also for the markets can be guided by policies. And of course, we have to remember that there are very many kinds of policies, from environmental policies to market policies to social policies, that also has an impact to agriculture and for family farmers. This forum arrives at a decisive moment. The international community continues to confront profound challenges: rising input costs, market volatility, disruptions to supply chains, and the accelerating impacts of climate change, as we had the discussion with my fellow farmer from the Philippines this morning. At the same time, escalating conflicts and crises, including the ongoing situation in Palestine, the war in Ukraine, and intensifying violence across the Sahel region, are just a few of the ongoing situations that threaten food security and the livelihoods of millions of family farmers. These interlinked challenges underscore the urgent need for innovative, inclusive, and resilient policy responses. In doing so, we must place particular emphasis on the role of women. Women farmers contribute decisively to the sustainability and productivity of family farming worldwide. They manage farms, lead cooperatives, preserve traditional knowledge, and drive innovation, often while facing systemic barriers to land, finance, and decision-making. Recognizing these challenges, the World Farmers Organization will be developing a policy this year specifically addressing secure land tenure for women farmers, ensuring they will have the legal and institutional support necessary to fully participate in and benefit from agricultural development. Unlocking their potential is not only a matter of fairness, but also a strategic investment in resilient and productive food system, which can't solve the problem of starving and hunger in the world without giving equal access to women farmers. Looking ahead, 2026 will mark the International Year of Women Farmers. This is a historic opportunity to shine a spotlight on their contributions and to accelerate action in support of their rights, leadership, and innovations. WFO is firmly committed to this agenda, and I wish to thank the chair of the International Steering Committee for the close collaboration as we prepare a dedicated thematic event to mark this important year. Together, we will ensure that women farmers are placed at the center of global discussions and solutions. Over the coming sessions, today and tomorrow, we will have the opportunity to exchange experiences, identify best practices, and shape policy pathways that enable family farmers to thrive. Excellencies, the future of global food security depends upon the success of family farming. Let this forum serve as a catalyst for practical, evidence-based and farmer-driven policies that can deliver on our collective commitments to end hunger, safeguard the environment, and build inclusive and sustainable societies. I look forward to our deliberations and the outcomes that will emerge to this dialogue. Together, let us reaffirm our commitment to placing family farmers at the center of food system transformation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kati. Dear participants, so let's now move, after the opening remarks, to the setting the scene of our forum. This scene setting will have two parts. First, we will hear from Guillermo and Luis about global and regional trends, about family farming, their policy needs, and the work that has been already done in relation to the decade. And then we will hear from the regions. We are really excited to learn how the regional exchanges went, what were the most important, most exciting and interesting aspects of these interregional exchanges. So let's start with Guillermo. Guillermo Bradi is the head of Family Farming, Parliamentary Networks and Communication for Development Unit. Guillermo will share with us about the decade, the main results and tools that have been already developed, and the main policy needs that we have been observing since the launching of the decade, which have been emerging. Guillermo, over to you. You come here. The PowerPoint thing.
Hello, good morning. Pleasure to have you all here. Pleasure also to have such wonderful chairs. It's easy to work under your guidance, so thanks so much. I just would like to give you an overview or a brief analysis of the main results, outcomes of the decade, and also to share with you some products or mechanisms that are available. So the ambassador, the chair of the International Steering Committee, mentioned to you the key results. I will not repeat. I just would like to highlight that I think we've been very successful to set an agenda favorable to family farming, or to raise awareness about the importance to have tailored, targeted policies to family farmers. And these, we have some indicators that we've been following that provides evidence on this. One is the number of countries that developed a framework on family farming related to national action plans or to regional action plans. So in total, considering the three sub-regions, Central America, South Asia, and Near East, and the national action plans, we have 46 countries that developed a framework on family farming. I think we've been also very successful in the adoption of legal and policy frameworks. We have a big number of legislations, regulations approved since the 2019, so the start of the decade. Of course, that not all of them are a direct result of the decade per se, but it's the monitoring that we see how countries are advancing on this. But I think the big challenge we have, it's on the implementation and formulation and implementation of policies. No, we note overall, this is not pointing finger to anyone specifically, but overall, there is an institutional gap on the capacity to formulate and to operate policies at scale. No, lack of budgetary restrictions, lack of operational capacities, also some lack of thinking on how to integrate different policy areas or coordination challenges, no, at institutional level, on how to integrate policy areas, different institutions in order to be able to confront the new challenges we have, that we need not only sectorial policies, but this capacity to integrate the agricultural policies with other policy areas, as Kati and also Ambassador Ada mentioned. No? Agriculture is not only production, it's safeguard environment, it is bring socioeconomic inclusion, it's about the landscape, it's about biodiversity. So how these other policy areas can be better connected to family farming, I think this is a challenge that exists and that we need to advance. Also, this is part of the perception we have on the monitoring of the implementation of the decade. This was also a big point that was raised in our previous Global Family Farming Forum that we had last year. I will jump here a bit. No? So if you remember well, during our Global Family Farming Forum in October 2024, those were some of the key messages, no? That we should advance on the target, on the formulation adapted to family farming needs, and how to bring the services and policies to family farmers on the ground. And for that, participants, and also this is a discussion in our International Steering Committee that guide us to provide spaces for knowledge exchange between actors, as we are doing today, to connect concrete solutions developed for family farmers, to see what is going well, and to study why this is functioning well, and also learn from others, from experiences, and also to explore innovative approaches to the design and implementation of policies. This is very important. We think that as we said, we need also to explore new modalities to implement policies, new tools that could be bring into the portfolio of policies, and to generate synergies between different countries from different regions. So my friend, dear friend Luis, will further develop this, what we've been doing since then, the Secretariat of the Decade with the Regional Technical Platform on Family Farming that is led by Luis. So this is, should be also a way forward for the next years. We should invest more on this kind of dialogues and concrete exchanges among farmers, among governments, among farmers and governments, to identify the solutions we need to advance. We've not only been promoting the adoption of policies, legislations, and promoting dialogue spaces, but also trying to organize the global knowledge on family farming. So along the years, we developed some technical products, global knowledge products to support, to provide technical advice to governments, to farmers on some key aspects of family farming policies, but not only, also materials to support organizations on the dialogue, to strengthen their capacity, advise on data, on how to gather better data with family farmers organizations, together with family farmers organizations. But we have some key areas just to illustrate that we've been investing a lot on legal analysis, legal definitions, how to develop national legislations, registries, and also a training material on public policies, for family farmers. And we have available also platforms that try to complement this work. So Luis will explain the regional technical platform on family farming that is focusing on these exchanges, interactions, developing solutions. We have the traditional already family farming knowledge platform with 10 years, but that is being revamped and let's say strengthened also to be not only a database with more than 46,000 contents on family farming, but also a space of community, of interaction, of practitioners to contact. No? And we have, since the launch of the decade, more than 4 million accesses to the Family Farming Knowledge Platform. And we also have available communication for development initiatives that are playing a crucial role to bring information to farmers and working with rural communication services to reach family farmers, to develop contents with them and to them, and also working a lot through rural community radios, for instance. So that's it, where we are. And thank you for your participation, commitment, and we look forward to keep working with you in the next years.
Really interesting.
Senior Policy Officer of the Regional Office of Latin America and the Caribbean of FAO. Luis will give us an overview of the activities of the Regional Technical Platform and also explain us the work on family farming in their region. Over to you, Luis.
Thanks, Ana. The floor, I think, Bueno, e graças e buenos dias a todas e a todos. É gusto tê-los acá nessa atividade em persona, acá entre todos. Isto que comentava Guilherme, há quase um ano, quando estivemos acá, vários de nós outros salimos com vários compromissos para seguir acompanhando o decênio. Um dos compromissos, desde a FAO, foi de seguir fomentando os intercâmbios, os espaços de construção coletiva de políticas públicas, não? Partindo de suposto de que a boa política se hace dialogando. Anteriormente a isso, o diretor-geral da FAO havia proposto, como parte de sua estratégia, a instalação de 5 plataformas técnicas regionais. Cada região nossa, cada uma das 5 regiões, se quedou responsável por um tema, não? Os colegas na nossa oficina em Cairo tratam o tema de escassez de água, não? E assim sucessivamente. A única dessas 5 plataformas que põe ênfase no sujeito da política é esta, de agricultura familiar, não? O sujeito está no centro dessa discussão. E nos deu uma ventaja também, esta plataforma, porque se conectava a isso que Guilherme les planteava, primeiro internamente em FAO, em um ecossistema de plataformas que já venia funcionando, e mais importante, alero, bajo o marco do Decênio das Nações Unidas para a Agricultura Familiar. Então, acá, además de ter entre todos vocês esses vínculos, essas articulações, também nos permite a nós outros, como FAO, trabalhar de forma muito articulada com o Guilherme, com a Ana, que lidera a área de agricultura familiar, com a equipe que maneja todo o tema de transformação rural, com o BEM, TACO, enfim, essa forma de trabalho também aprendemos com vocês, das organizações, não? De ir dialogando. Então, o que se pôs à disposição nessa plataforma para agricultores, organizações, governos, academia? Se põe esse conjunto de serviços, não? Possibilidades de intercâmbios técnicos, webinars, materiais de divulgação, treinamentos, capacitação, não? Que foi brindando conteúdo e facilitando esse diálogo ao redor de soluções concretas para a agricultura familiar, que é outro tema que Guilherme traía em sua intervenção. Acá, muitos de nós outros já sabemos, e se perguntamos a vocês, sobretudo das organizações, que há que fazer, bueno, está relativamente claro. Pero acá, os dilemas de implementação, como se implementa, como Miriam pode, em República Dominicana, acelerar a implementação de um programa, como em Brasil, se puede trabajar de forma más intensa en determinados tipos de instrumentos de política. Entonces, acá empezamos a hacer eso, y es un poco parte del compromiso de la FAO de seguir en el marco del decenio, y también ahora tributando a la Alianza Global contra el Hambre y la Pobreza, essa capacidade de poner à disposição esses espaços de construção coletiva de políticas, de reflexão e de ação sobre políticas. Como hicimos isto hasta agora? Não? Em muitos diálogos, identificando quais são essas prioridades, onde estão os temas em que os países, nas distintas regiões, põem mais atenção. E ayer, com o apoio dos colegas de nossa oficina em Budapeste, estivemos 2 dias dialogando entre Latinoamérica, o Caribe e Europa do Leste, e vimos muita similitud em nossas diferenças, não? Pero discutimos a fundo perspectivas sobre juventude, sobre o rol da mulher rural, sobre terras, não? Fazendo isso que vem cá, identificando políticas, instrumentos que têm resultado basado em evidências que podem ser puestas à disposição de outros países, não? Acá, basicamente, o que hacemos? O que hemos hecho hasta agora, não? Ciclos de intercâmbios, webinars, profundizamos alguns instrumentos como registros da agricultura familiar, não? Então, acá há uma articulação que está à disposição e que vai manter-se à disposição de los governos, da academia, das organizações, para seguir profundizando e acelerando, porque é certo o que disse lá, vamos por bom caminho, mas temos que acelerar aún mais, não? Para chegar aos objetivos que nos propusimos quando lançamos a década de agricultura familiar, não? E nesse momento, para que vejam a potência dessas coisas, não? É pouco, mas só em um ano de trabalho articulado dessa forma, com as nossas oficinas regionais, com nossa sede acá, mais de 17.000 pessoas participaram de alguma atividade de capacitação em cursos preparados com nossos sócios. Mais de 2.000 pessoas, não? Participando nesses diálogos que involucraram, a esse momento, mais de 70 países do mundo. Não? Com um pouquinho de inversão em interpretação, pusimos conversando pessoas de todas as partes do planeta. Não? E isso nos parece que é algo bastante importante porque nos vai permitindo, e vem a caldato, sistematizar experiências, sistematizar boas práticas, não? Acortar caminho e nessa carreira que temos para lograr os objetivos de um sistema alimentário mais incluyente, mais justo, mais sustentável, mais eficiente para todos, não? Nós tivemos, e com isso termino, e meus colegas vão ajudar a dar-lhes, vários deles participaram das atividades virtuais e vários também das atividades presenciais, em El Cairo, em Katmandu, acá ayer. Meus colegas prepararam um pequeno vídeo para dar-lhes um gostito, um sabor a lo que foram esses dias de acá, e que pode servir de inspiração para os diálogos que vamos ter hoje e amanhã, pensando no que vem hacia adelante, não? Ao Fórum Global acá em outubro e preparando-nos também para os próximos anos que vêm na implementação da agenda do decênio. Assim que pido aos colegas que passem esse vídeo e aí encerramos por acá.
¿Sabías que la agricultura familiar produce más del 80% de los alimentos que se consumen en el mundo? Por eso apoyar su fortalecimiento es fundamental para avanzar hacia la agricultura alimentaria y la nutrición. Para contribuir en este propósito, la FAO, a través de la Plataforma Técnica Regional para la Agricultura Familiar, organizó la serie de diálogos interregionales, un espacio para compartir experiencias, buenas prácticas y soluciones innovadoras que ya están transformando la agricultura familiar alrededor del mundo. Los encuentros, realizados en El Cairo, Katmandú y Roma, reunieron a representantes de la agricultura familiar de América Latina y el Caribe, del Cercano Oriente y África del Norte, Asia y el Pacífico y Europa y Asia Central. Cada diálogo fue una oportunidad para identificar soluciones para fortalecer la agricultura familiar, reforzar alianzas, identificar desafíos comunes y debatir sobre temas estratégicos como inversiones habilitantes, transferencia tecnológica, construcción de alianzas y acceso inclusivo a mercados. Los resultados y compromisos asumidos serán clave para transformar este sector productivo y orientar políticas públicas diferenciadas que pongan en el centro a las y los agricultores familiares y que asegure un desarrollo sostenible en línea con los objetivos del Decenio de las Naciones Unidas para la Agricultura Familiar. Así, será posible avanzar hacia un futuro más próspero en los sectores rurales, con sistemas agroalimentarios más robustos que garanticen una mejor producción, una mejor nutrición, un mejor medio ambiente y una vida mejor sin dejar a nadie atrás.
Assim que esse era o espírito, o ambiente desses intercâmbios, que espero que também nesses dias que vamos estar juntos se continuem sendo assim. Cerro com essa ideia que é muito comum em Sudamérica, que a agricultura familiar não produz só alimentos, produz pessoas e comunidades. Assim que tenhamos todos uma muito boa jornada.
Thank you very much again for all of you in the opening panel, and Guy and Luis for your leadership all along this year. But I also would like to take the opportunity to thank Pedro, Elisa, Kate, and Pia. Without them, we would not have taken any plane. We would not have slept in any hotel. So thank you so much for the team to support all these exchanges. So yeah, huge applause for them. So let's have more taste of these exchanges. And let's start in Cairo, right? The first exchange, interregional exchange, happened in Cairo in July, from the 7th to 9th July. And indeed, there were also a group of people, diverse actors who were sharing experiences about different priority areas, the specific regional priority areas of the Near East, and were exchanging about policy solution. Colleagues from the region of Latin America and Caribbean were supporting these exchanges, and while I was not there, I have heard that there were really great learning processes. Lautaro were supporting colleagues about how to set up a farmer registry, and etc., etc. Of course, this meeting would not have happened without Dalia, Greta, Selma, Nadida, and Sarah. So thanks a lot for them as well. We will see a very short video about this exchange as well. So colleagues, please.
Reconocer el rol de las y los agricultores familiares y apoyar su desarrollo es esencial para lograr una transformación rural inclusiva. Por eso la FAO impulsa los diálogos interregionales sobre agricultura familiar, un espacio para intercambiar conocimiento y soluciones innovadoras que están transformando este sector clave para la seguridad alimentaria y la nutrición. En su primera edición, autoridades de gobierno, organizaciones de agricultores, investigadores, jóvenes líderes y socios para el desarrollo de Cercano Oriente y África del Norte y de América Latina y el Caribe se reunieron en El Cairo, Egipto, para reflexionar sobre los avances en la implementación del Plan de Acción del Decenio de las Naciones Unidas para la Agricultura Familiar. El debate también puso en relieve la innovación inclusiva, la resiliencia climática y la transformación rural sostenible a partir de experiencias locales y de América Latina y el Caribe, relevantes para el proceso de la Reunión Especializada de Agricultura Familiar del Mercosur, donde este sector tiene un rol central en la integración regional. Los resultados de este encuentro, que forman parte de las acciones de la Plataforma Técnica Regional para la Agricultura Familiar, servirán de insumo para el Foro Global de Soluciones Políticas que se desarrollará el próximo 24 y 25 de septiembre en Roma, Italia. Poner en el centro a la agricultura familiar es fundamental para la construcción de sistemas agroalimentarios más eficientes, inclusivos, resilientes y sostenibles, que aseguren una mejor producción, una mejor nutrición, un mejor medio ambiente y una vida mejor, sin dejar a nadie atrás.
So this was about the first exchange. And then, after some months, we moved to Kathmandu, to Nepal, and we're learning about the realities and policy solutions of the region of Asia and the Pacifics. The meeting in Kathmandu was held on the 12th to 14th of August. And it was supported, obviously, by the FAO office, and we could not have realized it without Shandesh and Arun and Pravyal and all the great colleagues of the office. And of course, we also have to thank here, many of you know Mr. Yubak GC, the regional focal point of family farming. What about this exchange? We will hear from Raul Socrates Banzuela from Pakisama More. Raul was with us in Nepal, and I would like to ask you to share with us what was the most interesting. What did you learn? Why did it make sense to be there? So Raul, tell us more. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Friends, from 12 to 14 August 2025, Kathmandu became our common ground. Over 100 Nepali leaders and 20 allies from Latin America and Asia, family farmers, government champions, NGO partners, and academics came together. We showed what real movement building looks like: multi-stakeholder, face-to-face, rooted in the soil and in the people. They too took us out of the conference, and we were able to immerse ourselves in the lives of a cooperative. And in this cooperative, it was very clear: if you have disciplined organization, you can really help transition conventional farmers into agroecology. And one major insight there was that the farmers themselves are key investors through their cooperatives in this transformation. And so we feel this kind of event that we had in Kathmandu is a very good groundwork for this global forum, that we transform the experience into real policies, into policies that will transform our society, especially the lives of our frontliners in addressing issues, especially of climate disaster. So with this, we feel this kind of groundworks of interregional conference should be able to ground our reflections in this global forum. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Raul. From Asia, from Nepal, then we move to the exchange between Latin America and the region of Europe and Central Asia that was held here, because it just happened yesterday and the day before. So logistically, it made sense not to go somewhere else. So Morten, Bianca, and Victoria, thank you so much for the support. Yeah, the great, thank you very much, colleagues. And to summarize the key messages which emerged from this exchange, what the main impressions, I would like to invite Ms. Natalia Bogdanov, from the Belgrade University to share with us some impressions.
Thank you. In very few words, very fresh impressions from yesterday's event. Anyhow, the regional dialogue was very active. It brought together very engaging participants, providing a lot of examples and good practices from their countries. What we heard is about the progress made by Kyrgyzstan and Uruguay in developing their strategic and policy and implementation frameworks for family farming and improving the sector in their countries. Later on, the examples of the good practices from Croatia was presented, and it was very interesting, particularly for the participants coming from non-EU countries, as the parliament representative from Croatia presented the efforts they made in developing the short food supply chain in in cooperation with the local municipalities, the support they provide for young farmers as well as for young rural families in settling in housing in rural areas. The good examples were also presented on example from Moldova in developing a wine register and help the producers in that sector to connect with the input suppliers and with the markets. The same is for North Macedonia, where the examples from e-markets developed during the COVID were very interesting, and also the Kosovo presented the efforts that they are making in developing IT infrastructure in rural areas and to secure the access of the rural people to internet and IT technologies. Finally, the first-hand experience from two young ladies, returnees into their own villages, one from Dominicana, the another one from Kosovo, were very much interesting. They both presented their own perspective from their countries on the views on rural youth, and while the one insisted on the transfer of the knowledge to young farmers, the another was speaking about the very basic infrastructure that young people in rural areas will appreciate. And finally, their peer from the EU country highlighted the need to strengthen the social capital of rural youth in rural areas, and efforts need to be done in that direction. And from my personal perspective, regardless of many different regional contexts, the most, let's say, loud message was to access to secure the access to the resources, particularly to the land, as it seems to be the biggest issue in both regions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Natalia. I saw that Ahmed arrived, so I would like to invite him if you come here. Ahmed was there at the Cairo event, so to complement this video, it would be nice to hear from you, your personal experiences. How was this exchange in Cairo? What was the most interesting? And so on. So here.
Thank you so much. My name is Ahmed Sourani, the founder and general coordinator of Gaza Urban Agriculture Platform. I'm so pleased to be part of this important discussion. We had really very fruitful and reflective participatory dialogues, negotiations, as well as exchange in Cairo. On the top of these, that urban and family farming could be an important strategy to confront the negative impacts of the climate change, man-made crisis, as well as nature-made crisis. I think that was one of the main results that we've managed to came up during the Cairo meeting, regional meeting, and discussions at that level. A part of this, it's very important also to create these interactive linkages between the local, national, regional, and the global levels, which is very important when it comes to the development and enhancing the resilience of urban family farming in general, as well as in different regions and areas, especially those regions who are suffering from the conflicts. You know, I came from an area of suffering from the war, from the conflicts. And we have experience in Palestine, and I'm sure in other parts that they have protracted crisis conditions. Family farming was an important strategy to confront the negative impacts of the conflicts. So part of our reflection, as well as the importance of considering the triple nexus, keeping all the time creating these interactive linkages between the developmental perspective, emergency relief, and the humanitarian intervention, as well as peace building. Peace building should be part of our strategies. Peace building should be also an important key part and the driving part of our programs, interventions at different levels by FAO, by international, local organizations, as well as our governments in our countries. That this also takes us about the importance of adopting more relevant and realistic policies at the governmental level by local, governmental, international organizations working in different countries to what extent these governments have managed to develop relevant and realistic policies regarding the family farming. And urban family farming should be there as well. Urban agriculture is always there. And we have also seen an important issue that in the heart of urban family farming activities and family farming approaches, practices, and the resilient success stories, women were always there. Women are always in the heart of the family farming. So considering the needs of the women is very important. Part of our important regional discussion is that we need to shift from the traditional training courses that our communities, local communities, fed up of these. No, it's time to transform to more participatory capacity sharing process where people, families need to sit, share knowledge, experience with each others. That's very important. The same with the organizations as well as governments. We need to create this talking language between governments' policies, between civil society organizations working agriculture, as well as international actors. That's really an important issue and component that should be always there. My last point, sorry, is the community leadership. When we talk about family farming, we need to remember that the local communities, they have a lot of deep experiences, knowledge accumulated along the past decades. We need to dig in this space and to help the local communities to take the lead. And in this case, our role as local international governmental organization should be facilitative role. The local communities, even in crisis, they have a lot of important resources, knowledge, experience. We need to empower them, to give them the spirit, just to continue and to make the best use of their available resources in their communities. My last point and message from Gaza, which came this morning from my family in Gaza Strip. It's time to use food as a tool and a good mean to build real and just peace on the ground. The local communities, as well as all of us, we do not accept or bear that food can be used as a weapon. No, food can be used by all of us as an important mean, strategy, and approach to give the hope for the local communities in crisis and build real and just peace on the ground for all people in different parts of the world. Thank you so much, and this is really a great opportunity to be part of this important global level of discussion, and hopefully it will be linked interactively with what has been happened at the local, regional levels in this regard. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ahmed, and I thank you for your attention. My duty finished here, and I would like to invite Jean-Michel Sorisseau to the floor as the moderator of the first session, the first roundtable that will focus on leveraging and enhancing family farming resilience and sustainability. Welcome. And good that you landed. You just arrived 5 minutes ago, so thank you.
Bonjour à toutes et tous. Je suis très heureux d'être ici. Je suis Jean-Michel Sorisseau, je suis chercheur au CIRAD, qui est un organisme de recherche français. Et je vais parler en français parce que pour l'agriculture familiale, comme pour les systèmes alimentaires et tout ça, la diversité, moi j'y crois beaucoup, et la diversité linguistique fait aussi partie de la diversité. Voilà, on est déjà un peu en retard, donc du coup je vais essayer d'aller assez vite. Juste pour vous dire que dans cette session, du coup, là on bascule maintenant sur la question des solutions, hein. C'est le cœur des 2 jours qui nous occupent. Et donc on va commencer à explorer qu'est-ce qui est mis en œuvre pour appuyer le rôle et la place de l'agriculture familiale dans les systèmes agricoles en général et dans le monde en général. Cette session-là va s'intéresser plus directement à l'accès aux ressources naturelles, et donc au foncier et à l'eau particulièrement. Yes. Et donc pour cela, on va faire en 2 temps. D'abord, j'appelle Monsieur Ian Wright, qui doit venir ici pour faire son speech. Si vous voulez venir tous à la tribune, s'il vous plaît. You should come there. Et ensuite, j'appelle aussi les 4 panélistes, en espérant qu'ils soient tous là. Donc, Monsieur César Aldrigui, du Brésil. Madame Puspita Suryaning-Tias, j'espère que j'écorche pas son nom, qui nous vient, merci, elle se reconnaît d'Indonésie. Je les représenterai plus précisément ensuite, hein, là c'est juste pour les faire venir. Monsieur John Jeffrey Ranaman, qui nous vient de Madagascar. Vous voyez qu'on a un panel qui vient de partout dans le monde, c'est très bien. Et enfin, j'appelle aussi Monsieur Toulos Bostonbaev, qui nous vient, lui, du Kyrgyzstan. Pardon. Donc, au cours de cette session, ces 4 panélistes, bonjour, qui sont des praticiens du développement et qui mettent en œuvre des solutions concrètes. Donc, ils vont nous expliquer ce qui va être. Mais on avait souhaité cadrer un peu le débat avant ça. Et donc, on va avoir une note du docteur Ian Wright, qui est donc ici, qui est chercheur émérite à l'Institut international de recherche sur l'élevage, l'ILRI, qui est une institution du CGIAR basée à Nairobi. Alors, il possède une très longue et très vaste expérience dans le développement de l'élevage, mais aussi de l'agriculture, de l'environnement et des systèmes alimentaires en général, en Europe, en Afrique et en Asie. Mais en fait, il est là surtout parce qu'il est aussi vice-président du HLPE, du groupe d'experts de haut niveau du CFS, du Comité de la sécurité alimentaire. Et le dernier rapport du HLPE, vous connaissez tous les rapports du HLPE et le poids que ça a dans le débat et dans la construction des débats autour des systèmes alimentaires, mais aussi de l'agriculture familiale. Et donc, dans le dernier rapport, qui s'intéresse à la résilience des systèmes alimentaires, le panel introduit une notion vraiment intéressante qui est la résilience transformative équitable, qui permet de comprendre la résilience comme une grande dynamique et de s'adresser en dynamique aux sources des inégalités et de l'inéquité, et donc aux sources et aux inégalités structurelles. Et donc cette idée de dynamique est très importante. Le rapport parle aussi de capacité, mais de capacité des individus, mais pas seulement, de capacité des individus, des communautés et de la nature ensemble pour résoudre cette question de la résilience. Et un autre mot qui est très présent dans ce rapport, qui est le mot agency en anglais, agencéité, agentivité, on n'a pas trop de traduction en français, mais qui est aussi présent dans la plupart des rapports du HLPE qui me semble structurant. Voilà, donc du coup je vous laisse la parole pour nous donner quelques éléments sur en quoi ces éléments qui sont dans ce rapport de résilience transformative équitable, mais d'agencivité aussi, peuvent nous permettre de travailler cette question de l'accès de l'agriculture familiale de façon durable aux ressources naturelles. Voilà. Alors, je sais que vous êtes rodés à l'exercice, mais pour adresser toutes ces questions-là, vous n'avez malheureusement que 15 minutes.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Moderateur. As Vice Chair of the High-Level Panel of Experts on Food Security and Nutrition, I'm particularly happy to be here to participate in this global forum. Thank you to the organisers for the invitation and the opportunity to share some policy solutions for leveraging and enhancing family farming resilience and sustainability. Let me begin by saying a little about the High-Level Panel of Experts on Food Security and Nutrition, or HLPE, FSN for short. So the HLP provides scientific advice to the Committee on World Food Security, the CFS. And the CFS is the foremost inclusive international and intergovernmental platform in the field of food security and nutrition. It's made up of representatives of governments, UN agencies, civil society, indigenous peoples, financial and research institutions, philanthropic foundations, and the private sector. And using a multi-stakeholder and inclusive approach, the CFS develops and endorses policy recommendations and guidance on a wide range of food security and nutrition issues. HLPE prepares reports and notes with recommendations and guidance to inform policy recommendations for the CFS. To prepare those reports, we use scientific evidence, but we also consider evidence and experience through public consultations from a wide range of stakeholders. Therefore, I'm here not only to share some of the evidence we've produced, but also to learn from the discussions over the next 2 days, so that policy innovations can inspire others for the implementation of policy instruments already agreed and the preparation of new policy instruments. I want to emphasize that the HLPE is completely independent. The members of the steering committee are appointed as individuals and do not represent their countries or their employers. And while we respond to requests for reports from the CFS, the contents of those reports, including the recommendations, are entirely the responsibility of the HLPE. We have already delivered 20 reports, many of which address natural resources or sustainability, including land, water, forestry, fisheries, climate change, and our most recent report, which was released earlier this month, on building resilient food systems. We also periodically prepare notes on critical, emerging, and enduring issues for food security and nutrition. All this work has led the HLP to provide a broader and deeper understanding of food security and nutrition. Traditionally, 4 dimensions of food security were generally agreed: availability, accessibility, utilization, and stability. In 2020, we recommended adding 2 new dimensions to this framework: sustainability and agency. And I'm very pleased to say that they are increasingly being used regularly by UN agencies and governments and other stakeholders. I want now to say a little bit more on sustainability and agency. And these 2 dimensions, I believe, of sustainability and agency are central to today's discussion. The sustainability dimension reflects the very definition of sustainable food systems, coined by the HLP in 2014, as food systems that, and I quote, deliver food security and nutrition for all in such a way that the economic, social, and environmental basis to generate food security and nutrition for future generations are not compromised. Agency can be defined as improving the rights and capabilities of people to feed themselves with dignity and to engage with and shape their food systems. Agency empowers individuals and groups to make decisions about the food that they eat, produce, and distribute. Agency is also the ability to effectively engage in decision-making processes and governance at local, regional, and global levels. And these 2 notions of sustainability and agency are key to understanding the contribution of family farming to sustainable development and what policies are needed to strengthen it. Family farmers are both dependent on natural resources and key to the sustainable management of those natural resources. The HLP has highlighted this in multiple reports over the years, building upon numerous examples. Key in this regard is the report published in 2019 on agroecological and other innovative approaches for sustainable agriculture and food systems that enhance food security and nutrition. Strengthening family farmers' agency, recognizing access rights to land and water, giving them the means to effectively manage their farms for future generations can go a long way in achieving sustainable development objectives. In a recent note that the HLP published earlier this year on tackling climate change, biodiversity loss, and land degradation through the right to food, we present multiple examples showing that increasing agency of family farmers in the management of natural resources is very often the most efficient way to manage those natural resources for multiple long-term objectives, ensuring food security, not only for now, but also in the future, by contributing to sustainable management of biodiversity and climate action, and some of the recommendations in this note are particularly relevant here. Firstly, we recommend bridging environmental action with human rights obligations and adopting a holistic agri-food systems perspective on mitigation and adaptation. We suggest that national strategies, such as nationally determined contributions, national biodiversity strategies and action plans, and national adaptation plans, must adopt a rights-based approach, prioritising smallholders, Indigenous peoples, and women. We said we need transformative investments in agroecology, land tenure security, and biodiversity stewardship to build resilient and equitable food systems. And finally, we argued that the right to food is a strategic nexus for enhancing coherence across the implementation of the 3 Rio Conventions on biodiversity, climate change, and desertification. Now let me turn attention to building resilience in family farming. Whilst family farmers make invaluable contributions to economic, social, and environmental sustainability, they face, as we know, significant challenges in doing so. Family farmers generally face unique vulnerabilities due to their specific status. In family farming, the family and the farm are linked. They co-evolve and combine economic, environmental, social, and cultural functions. As such, the livelihoods and resilience of the family are inherently linked to the performance of the farm. Combined with generally limited capital, family farmers often have very little adaptive capacity when facing stressors and shocks, and are therefore more vulnerable to income and livelihood loss due to low productivity, weather shocks, or price volatility. Indeed, elements of adaptive capacity, particularly natural and financial capital, are shown to be the principal determinants of vulnerability to climate change. And in the absence of financial capital, family farmers may experience lower resilience and rely on short-term strategies, such as selling land, animals, or machinery, which further reduce long-term resilience. While some characteristics of family farming, such as the use of family labour and the tendency towards diversified production, may support adaptive strategies, the overall impact of low capital and reliance on the farm activities for income and livelihoods is a main vulnerability that needs to be recognised and addressed in appropriate policies. In our latest report, Building Resilient Food Systems, this report recognises these specific vulnerabilities as well as the central role of strengthening sustainability and agency of family farms. The report addresses the urgent need to enhance food systems resilience amidst escalating environmental, political, and economic challenges. And the report aims to answer the following 3 questions. Firstly, why are the food systems, their people and related environments so vulnerable to shocks and stresses? And how do food systems contribute to those shocks and stresses? Secondly, how can they be made more resilient in the long term, not just the short term, but in the long term? And thirdly, how can food systems help diminish future shocks and stresses? The main finding of the report is that successful and long-term interventions are needed to be equitably transformative so that they realise human rights and operate in all parts of the food system. Resilience is usually defined as the capacity of a system to continue functioning well despite shocks and stresses. But the report highlights that building resilient food systems requires addressing what we term differential vulnerabilities. This means that people and systems are not equally vulnerable to the same shocks, but that vulnerability results from a combination of contextual, historical, structural, and socio-ecological inequalities. The report also highlights the need to shift from traditional resilience thinking, which focuses on bouncing back to the state before the shock. However, that state may have been suboptimal in the first place, and not the state we want the food system to be in. We should be aiming to what we call bounce forward. By this, I mean transforming to a state that is better than the one before the shock. And this means paying attention to transformative changes that address the underlying structural and systematic vulnerabilities, and not just responding to that specific short-term shock or emergency. The report underscores the importance of diverse and equitable food systems in improving livelihoods and food security, particularly for those most affected by shocks and stresses. The report also provides evidence-based pathways to ensure that food systems can adapt and transform in the face of uncertainties. It provides focused and action-oriented recommendations to build resilient food systems capable of withstanding shocks and stresses. It emphasizes the importance of equitably transformative resilience, which involves enabling capacities and agency and strengthening socio-ecological interdependencies to ensure food security and nutrition for all, while respecting planetary boundaries. The policy recommendations of the report are clustered into 5 main areas. Firstly, strengthening governance and policy coherence. Secondly, fostering diverse food systems. Thirdly, enhancing knowledge systems and processes. Fourthly, strengthening science-based decision-making. And finally, improving foresight, contingency planning, and emergency preparedness. Coherent governance policy and programme initiatives can contribute to resilient food systems by realising synergies and complementarities across scales. For instance, school feeding programmes can not only contribute to better nutrition, health, and learning outcomes of children, but can be used to enhance local agricultural value chain development, encourage local food production, create jobs along the supply chain, offering producers greater market access and terms of trade. To ensure inclusive and meaningful participation of all actors in the food system, countries can, firstly, create participatory, locally driven decision-making processes. Secondly, promote financing mechanisms for debt relief to reduce and adapt to stressors and shocks. And thirdly, strengthen inclusive access to fair and democratic multilateral financial tools for smallholder farmers and micro, small and medium-sized enterprises throughout the food system. To foster diversity in production, markets and diets in support of food security and nutrition, countries can support programmes to rehabilitate, restore or rebuild productive ecosystems and biodiversity. Invest in supply chains and infrastructure to deliver more diverse diets. Enable participation of marginalised and excluded groups. Support policies, legislation and regulations that ensure all people have access and rights to resources and agency diversifying production, and to invest in long-term resilience. Protect against and prevent zoonotic disease transmission, and finally, support small-scale diversified farms, fisheries and forests. To enhance knowledge systems and processes, governments can enhance education and research to support food systems resilience, as they facilitate access to education and training, support formal and informal education to build capacities to respond to stresses and shocks, and to invest specifically in research in making food systems more resilient. Preparedness and contingency planning are important elements in disaster risk reduction. Relevant systems and mechanisms must be strengthened to enable swift mobilisation and efficient distribution of emergency food supplies and associated logics, including in areas of conflict. Foresight, emergency preparedness, contingency planning and disaster risk reduction should go beyond reacting to crises. They should identify and manage risks and differential vulnerabilities, as well as building equitably transformative resilience against future shocks and stresses. As part of contingency planning and preparedness, social protection is more than just a safety net. It's a strategic tool for building resilience across multiple dimensions. It strengthens absorptive, adaptive, and anticipatory capacities. It helps individuals and communities cope with shocks and prevents negative coping mechanisms. It helps to adjust to changing conditions and prepare to future risks. To protect the vulnerable and marginalised, policymakers can strengthen access to universal, adequate, and comprehensive and sustainable social protection. They can ensure food system workers are covered by national labour legislation that's consistent with international labour standards, and expand social protection to cover all food system workers, guaranteeing a living income for food workers, especially in global value chains. Countries can broaden and democratize knowledge systems as they acknowledge value and harness marginalized knowledge, ways of knowing, and social technology, including traditional, indigenous, and local knowledge systems. Countries can also work with policymakers and land use planners to support national and territorial food systems. They can support food diversification and invest in open access data systems. So in conclusion, in order to achieve resilience and fulfill their potential to contribute to global goals, family farmers must be supported with a conducive policy environment at the national level. The policy products of the Committee on World Food Security can support global convergence for national family farming policies. Along the main policy products, there are multiple sets of recommendations that can support the integration of family farming needs in multiple national policies, including environmental policies, for instance. This can also facilitate the engagement of multiple ministries and the mobilization of multiple sources of funding, both national and international. The 2024 to 2027 multi-year programme of work of the Committee on World Food Security recognises the role of family farmers in contributing to reduced malnutrition and food insecurity and in promoting sustainable food systems. As I said in the introduction, the HLPE works with the evidence provided by science and stakeholders. The examples and the discussions here will nourish the background paper we are preparing for the CFS Global Thematic Event, which aims to, and I quote, foster the uptake and sharing of experiences and best practices of relevant CFS policy instruments, contributing to the objectives of the 2019-2028 UN Decade of Family Farming. Finally, I just want to say that all the HLP reports and briefs are available in 6 UN languages on our website. If you've not visited the website, please do so. Search for HLPE FSN and you'll find it. Thank you very much.
Merci, Dr. Vous pouvez rester juste derrière. Merci beaucoup. Donc, discours éclairant. J'appuie sa remarque d'aller voir les rapports du HLPE, c'est toujours très intéressant. Voilà, je crois que celui-là donc a été ouvert en début septembre. Voilà, je ne suis pas sûr que la traduction en français et dans les autres langues soit déjà disponible, mais ça va l'être bientôt. Voilà, j'insiste sur cette idée de résilience transformative et équitable qui est dedans, qui nous permet quand même, et surtout sur l'agriculture familiale, il me semble que ça permet quand même de décliner et de mieux cibler la litanie des politiques publiques habituelles si on le regarde à l'aune de la résilience et à l'aune de ce que c'est que l'organisation très particulière de l'agriculture familiale qui lie production et gestion domestique. Et je pense que ce terme de résilience transformative équitable dans la durée nous aide à repenser aussi ce qu'on peut faire pour l'agriculture familiale. Voilà. Monsieur Wright a dit aussi que le HLPE se nourrissait de ce qui se passait autour. Donc maintenant, on va passer à des illustrations très concrètes de politiques publiques, d'initiatives qui ont été menées. Et donc, ça donne l'occasion aussi aux 4 panélistes de nourrir aussi le HLPE dans ses prochains rapports ou dans ses prochaines notes. Donc voilà, donc c'est pour ça que c'est bien que Monsieur Wright reste à la tribune pour écouter aussi cela. Donc sans tarder, parce qu'on a toujours un grand retard, je vais passer la parole à Monsieur César Aldrigui, qui est président de l'Institut national pour la colonisation et la réforme agraire, INCRA, au Brésil. Et donc il y a une vision assez multidimensionnelle aussi de ces questions d'accès à la terre d'abord, mais aux ressources aussi qu'il y a derrière la terre. Et on sait que le Brésil, avec sa dichotomie de gestion de politique publique, a toujours développé des politiques assez originales en faveur de l'agriculture familiale. Donc on a hâte de l'écouter. Je suis désolé, Monsieur Aldrigui, vous n'avez que 6 minutes pour présenter toutes les expériences que vous avez pu mener au Brésil. Voilà. Essayez de faire au mieux.
Bom dia. Bom dia, Jean-Michel. Vou falar em português, a minha língua pátria. Agradecer imensamente o convite para participar desse painel, Jean, junto com os demais painelistas com experiências ricas de outros países. Então, manifestar aqui a alegria de estar aqui dizer que este Fórum Mundial sobre Soluções de Políticas para a Agricultura Familiar mostram as dificuldades, mostram as organizações e as formas de resistência para enfrentar os problemas, né? E eu acho que a FAO, com essas iniciativas, ela nos possibilita não só trocar experiências, mas também construir ações comuns entre as organizações, com vistas à governança da terra, à produção de alimentos. Então, eu falo aqui a partir do lugar que eu estou, que é o instituto que hoje trabalha a reforma agrária no Brasil, e nós estamos aqui muito a partir de um acordo de cooperação que temos com a FAO e a Agência Brasileira de Cooperação Internacional, que nos possibilita a troca de experiências, de vivências na nossa região da América Latina e do Caribe. Então, agradecer à FAO por nos proporcionar, junto com o INCRA e com a Agência Brasileira de Cooperação, momentos de trocas de vida, de experiência, de ações governamentais para a nossa região. Não é possível tratarmos de soluções para as políticas para a agricultura familiar sem antes olhar duas questões. Uma delas é o espaço de produção que é reservado à agricultura familiar. No Brasil, e essa experiência da cooperação com a FAO nos permite dizer que a terra reservada à agricultura familiar, e nós tratamos no INCRA de acesso à terra e políticas para desenvolvimento dos assentamentos, o INCRA possui um cadastro, faz a gestão do cadastro de terras para a gestão do território nacional, junto com os entes federativos, o governo federal, os governos dos estados e nos municípios, e alimentamos um sistema onde quem é detentor do imóvel faz lá o registro a partir da sua escritura, do seu documento de terras. Neste cadastro, a gente pode identificar, e a situação do Brasil não é diferente dos demais pela nossa vivência com os amigos da América Latina e Caribe, 1,4% dos imóveis do Brasil, 89 mil imóveis no Brasil que estão no nosso cadastro, 89 mil imóveis, que corresponde a 1,4% desses imóveis, ocupam 61% do território nacional. De outra banda, 2,5 milhões de estabelecimentos da agricultura familiar, que ocupam até 10 hectares, ocupam apenas 1,5% do território nacional. Se somarmos esses 2,5% com os imóveis até 50 hectares de terra, serão 78% dos imóveis do Brasil, que ocupam 9% do território. Isso não é muito diferente a partir do índice que identifica a concentração de terra, não é muito diferente na Argentina, no Paraguai, na Bolívia, todos os países da América Latina e do Caribe. Então, não é possível tratar das soluções para a agricultura familiar sem olhar o espaço que nos é reservado para desenvolver as políticas. Grande parcela do território nacional hoje é reservada para um tipo de agricultura empresarial e diferenciado. Outra questão central que eu vou trazer aqui, eu espero ser breve, é a relação das políticas de acesso à terra com a democracia. O Brasil viveu nos últimos anos uma interrupção de políticas públicas que eram tratadas desde 1995, passando em 2003 pelo primeiro mandato do presidente Lula, vivendo até 2016, quando houve um golpe de Estado, a presidenta Dilma saiu do governo e tivemos ali um interstício na política de diversas políticas públicas que foram construídas num período de democracia, que priorizou a agricultura familiar e a reforma agrária e que foi paralisado nos governos até 2023. Nós assumimos em 2023 e identificamos inúmeros conflitos e priorizamos o cadastro e a identificação desses conflitos. Temos no Brasil hoje mais de 1.400 acampamentos de sem terra, pessoas que estão aguardando há mais de 10 anos por um pedaço de terra. Isso caracteriza o conflito da concentração de terra com aqueles que não têm a terra, e aí o governo do Brasil passa, em 2023, a reorganizar a política de reforma agrária, retomar o processo de criação de assentamentos. O presidente Lula cria o programa Terra da Gente, que possibilita o assentamento de 326 mil famílias, 142 já assentadas, 142 mil famílias já com acesso à terra, e até 2026 chegaremos a 326 mil. Então, é uma retomada importante. A história da reforma agrária no Brasil e os assentamentos, nós temos, desde 1985, com a retomada da democracia no país, um volume enorme de assentamentos criados a partir de mobilizações dos trabalhadores rurais, dos movimentos sociais. São mais de 10 mil assentamentos já no território do Brasil, são mais de 1 milhão de famílias assentadas em 93 milhões de hectares. Então, é um universo significativo e desafiador para que a gente ali implemente as políticas públicas. O uso da terra, ele tem um papel importante no sistema climático que a gente está tratando aqui e coloca a agricultura familiar em um lugar de extrema relevância. O uso da terra, apesar de ser fonte de emissão de gases de efeito estufa, é também parte da solução das mudanças climáticas. Como foi colocado aqui no relatório anterior, o solo ele pode sequestrar carbono mas por meio de técnicas sustentáveis, como o plantio de agroflorestas, a agricultura sustentável, pode sequestrar o carbono e possibilitar um ambiente sustentável. Então, nós entendemos que a agricultura familiar ela é central no combate às mudanças climáticas. A reforma agrária no Brasil é o nosso principal instrumento de acesso à terra. Vamos assentar 326 mil famílias e retomar o processo de discussão com os movimentos sociais de luta pela terra no Brasil, que não tinham no governo espaço para apresentar as reivindicações e formular políticas públicas. Portanto, estamos em um momento no governo do Brasil, já encerrando então, num momento de formulação de políticas de forma conjunta do governo com a sociedade. Acreditamos que, além da terra, é preciso fornecer as condições para o desenvolvimento. O INCRA, além de assentar as famílias, tem um conjunto de políticas de crédito, de assistência técnica, que priorizam os jovens, as mulheres. Então, o acesso à terra é o primeiro passo, mas ninguém fica permanece lá desenvolvendo com sistemas produtivos sustentáveis, se ele não tiver no seu ambiente infraestrutura básica, como estradas, habitação, internet, mobilidade, políticas públicas para jovens na perspectiva de sucessão rural e especialmente para as mulheres, que hoje nós priorizamos a titulação da terra para as mulheres. Além do trabalho com o público que espera pela terra, ainda também trabalhamos com os povos afrodescendentes, com os quilombos, territórios quilombolas, e povos e comunidades tradicionais de áreas ribeirinhas, onde nós fazemos todo o processo de regularização fundiária e acesso às políticas públicas. Dizer que o presidente Lula esteve na Assembleia da ONU, com muito orgulho, dizendo que no último relatório da FAO nós saímos do mapa da fome e temos certeza que se deveu muito à agricultura familiar do nosso país e às políticas que o governo tem dedicado, e agradecemos à FAO por nos ajudar a formular essas políticas e perceber o quanto a gente nos últimos anos tem avançado para construir uma agricultura sustentável e também a permanência da democracia no nosso país, para que a gente possa ter sequência das políticas públicas e estabilidade para a nossa agricultura familiar.
Merci beaucoup César pour ces... Bon, évidemment 6 minutes c'est très frustrant pour voir la chose. Je pense que ce qui a été dit aussi c'est que qui est important, et ça c'est assez étudié maintenant, c'est le fait que les politiques publiques elles sont pas là pour tout le temps, quoi. On peut avoir des démantèlements de politiques publiques et des remantèlements de politiques publiques et reconstruire des politiques publiques quand elles ont été démantelées, c'est toujours un challenge aussi. Il y a des nouvelles choses qui se mettent en place et c'est bien de l'exprimer comme ça. Et je retiens aussi le lien avec la société civile et la construction du coup de politiques publiques avec la société civile qui est au cœur quand même de la construction de ce que vous mettez en place. Voilà. Désolé pour la frustration de ne pas pouvoir en dire plus, mais on pourra échanger après un peu sûrement. On est obligé d'avancer et donc on va aller en Indonésie. On va donc écouter Madame Surya Ningtyas, je suis désolé avec la prononciation, qui est donc une spécialiste de la planification au sein du ministère national de la planification, le Bappenas en Indonésie. Et donc, même question qu'à César, de là où vous êtes, avec la profondeur du travail que vous avez et de l'expérience. Je crois aussi que vous intéressez beaucoup à la multidimensionnalité de la pauvreté, de là où vous êtes. Est-ce que vous pouvez nous dire quelques mots sur les efforts qui sont déployés en Indonésie pour avoir des solutions sur l'accès des agriculteurs familiaux aux ressources naturelles? 6 minutes aussi seulement.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chen Michael. And Dr. Ian Wright, excellent panelists, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Actually, I prepared some slides to help more understand about the Indonesian context. Maybe if you can show, but it's okay if you can. Actually, I sent it last night, maybe.
I'm sorry.
No slide.
I don't think so.
It's okay, it's okay. Yeah. Indonesia remains supporting the United Nations Decade of Family Farming as a key initiative to transform food system and to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. The commitment aligns fully with Indonesia's Long-Term Development Plan 2025 to 2045 and integrated into medium-term planning 2025 to 2029, as well as our annual national development strategies. Let me show you the brief outline of the family farming situation in Indonesia to provide context to our policy approach. Family farming is a central pillar of our food security, rural economy, and environment sustainability. Today, around 93% of Indonesia's agricultural sector is managed by family farmers, underscoring their strategic role in the national development. Indonesia is an archipelagic nation and highly diverse agroclimatic zones. This diversity leads to significant heterogeneity among family farmers in terms of geography, farm size, infrastructure access, and production system. Therefore, one-size-fits-all policies are often ineffective. To address this, the Indonesian government emphasizes identifying local characteristics within family farming communities to ensure policies are targeted and effective. Our main goals are to protect the right to food and to improve family farmer welfare, as well as maintain the sustainability. Despite the diversity, family farmers face several common challenges. For example, high production costs, with over 60% from labor and land rental, low youth involvement, massive conversion of agricultural land, declining of productivity due to the climate change, gender disparity, unsustainable farming practices, limited land ownership, and also weak market position. Indonesia has enacted strong law to protect farmer and natural resources, including the Agrarian Law, Agricultural Land Protection Law, Farmer Protection and Empowerment Law, Small-Scale Fisheries, Sustainable Agricultural Cultivation Law. Recently, under the Family Farming Decade, this is the right momentum for us to develop the National Action Plan for Family Farming 2024 to 2030, a cross-sectoral policy framework that places family farming at the core of poverty reduction, food security, and natural resources protection. We have several key targets in our National Action Plan, including reducing the poverty to 6 until 7% and doubling the smallholder farmer income by 2029, decreasing undernourishment, decreasing the prevalence of undernourishment to 8.46%, and improving the household nutrition, reducing food waste and losses along the supply chain. In our National Action Plan, we also have focus on access, policy focus on access and management of natural resources. For example, ensuring family farmers access to and control over land, water, seeds, forests, and fisheries areas. Implementing agrarian reform and redistributing land to smallholder farmers. Protecting women's and indigenous communities' right to agrarian resources. Promoting environmentally friendly, including agroecological farming, and also strengthening local institutions like cooperatives and community-based extension. Allow me to highlight 2 practical policy examples that demonstrate how Indonesia is advancing equitable access to and management of natural resources for family farmers. The first one is Social Forestry Program. This program is to empower local and customary communities to manage forest resources sustainability within state, private, or customary forests. This includes village forests, community forests, and forestry partnership. They aim to improve community welfare, environmental balance, and also socio-cultural values. The second one is Village Fund or Dana Desa. This is a critical source of financing from Indonesia's national budget transferred through district budget to support village governments, development, and community empowerment. At least 20% of Dana Desa is allocated specifically for village food security programs, funding activities such as boosting local food production, processing agricultural products, and distributing food to strengthen the village self-reliance. Together, this initiative empower family farmer and rural community to sustainably manage natural resources and enhance resilience. In closing, we believe that ensuring fair access and sustainable management of natural resources is fundamental to improving the welfare of family farmers. Through inclusive policy framework like National Action Plan for Family Farming and real-world programs like Social Forestry and Village Fund, Indonesia is committed to building a just, resilient, and sustainable rural and agricultural future. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup, des plans très, très impressionnants. Voilà. Ça donne envie de lire vos plans et de rentrer un peu plus dans le détail de ce qui est fait. J'ai bien aimé le rappel sur la protection sociale aussi, de lier protection sociale et protection des forêts, qui me semble quelque chose d'assez important et des leviers qui pourraient être exploités aussi dans pas mal d'endroits. Voilà, et cette synergie aussi entre territorialiser les politiques publiques, mais s'attaquer aussi aux dimensions structurelles fait assez écho, je pense, à ce qui avait été dit aussi dans la première présentation. Donc merci beaucoup, ça donne envie d'aller un peu plus loin ces 6 premières minutes pour mieux savoir tout ce que vous réalisez. On va maintenant aller dans Madagascar, dans l'océan Indien. Du coup, donc je vais donner la parole à John Jeffrey Radaman, qui est un collaborateur des organisations de producteurs à l'intérieur du ministère de l'Agriculture et de l'Élevage à Madagascar. Il me reprendra si c'est pas ça, si c'est pas le cas. Et pareil, même question, en 6 minutes toujours, l'idée de nous faire part de l'expérience de Madagascar en matière de promotion d'approches qui soient innovantes et localisées et ciblées pour appuyer les agricultures familiales dans leur accès de façon soutenable aux ressources naturelles. Merci.
Merci beaucoup, Jean-Michel, de m'avoir donné la parole. Mesdames et messieurs, bonjour. Merci à la FAO de m'avoir invité donc, à ce genre d'événement. Je vais commencer donc à présenter quelques chiffres clés par rapport au contexte malgache, surtout donc côté agriculteurs et agricultrices familiaux. Tout d'abord, donc à Madagascar, donc on a 80% de la population qui représente donc l'agriculture familiale. Ils sont donc à peu près donc dans les 3 millions comme exploitation agricole familiale. Et par rapport à la terre, 76% des agriculteurs familiaux donc, ont eu leur terrain donc, comme héritage, 20% à 18% donc, dans des achats. Et il y a une proportion donc, qui ont eu leur terrain donc, de par le mariage, dons et autres formes d'acquisition. Parmi ces acquisitions, donc, seulement 40% donc, ont des documents légaux qui confirment donc la propriété et 41% n'ont même pas de documents. Tout cela donc c'est par rapport à la pratique coutumière qui domine encore notre société rurale qui est représentée dans sa globalité par les agricultures familiales. Il y a aussi donc des contextes très spécifiques et très importants, c'est que l'enclavement des villages, des emplacements de l'agriculture familiale qui rend des fois difficile donc les choses. De tout cela, la terre est confrontée à des problèmes d'accaparement de terrain aussi donc par les gros investisseurs. Et il y a à côté le manque d'éducation de la plupart de nos acteurs. Ce que nous faisons donc à Madagascar, c'est que pour limiter un peu donc le risque et pour protéger nos agriculteurs familiaux, l'État a essayé de mener une politique qui vont donc à proximité des agriculteurs familiaux, la mise en place des guichets fonciers qui facilitent un peu donc l'enregistrement et l'octroi des certificats fonciers pour justifier donc la propriété des terrains aux agriculteurs familiaux. Il y a aussi de l'autre côté donc des politiques qui facilitent un peu cet accès-là. Nous avons mis en place donc ce qu'on a dit projet titre vert. C'est un projet pas seulement du ministère de l'Agriculture, mais c'est un projet présidentiel même qui essaie donc de lancer les jeunes. Le projet titre vert, donc c'est en quelque sorte une sorte de pack clé en main. Pourquoi? Parce que d'un côté social, donner donc aux vulnérables donc un terrain, un local et une PAC de départ intrant agricole pour que l'acteur donc puisse se développer. Il y a un côté économique qui essaie donc de développer donc l'entrepreneuriat avec les agriculteurs familiaux, donner des terrains plus conséquents et construire un local, puis donc un parc d'intrants pour que l'acteur même donc puisse développer son business. Et ça, donc, le critère principal pour le côté économique, c'est que la présentation d'un business plan rentable. Donc, pour que l'acteur puisse donc faire, donc, puisque cela, donc, c'est pas gratuit par rapport au titre vert économique, mais il y a donc une sorte de remboursement après. Comme mesure d'accompagnement, là, actuellement, donc, nous avons une vision de transformer le secteur agricole en insistant donc sur la professionnalisation des agriculteurs familiaux, mener pas mal des formations pour renforcer leur capacité donc, à produire plus, tel que nous, donc, nous sommes une société qui mange beaucoup de riz. formation sur la culture de riz. Et de par notre situation climatique aussi, donc nous développons donc l'agroécologie. Pour cela, donc en ce moment même, le ministère mène donc une sorte de stratégie en menant donc la caravane pour la transformation agricole, en menant des formations de masse. De ce côté de professionnalisation aussi, donc on insiste sur, c'est pas la création, mais sensibiliser donc les acteurs à se rejoindre pour résoudre ensemble donc leurs problèmes et les initier donc à aller en plus donc vers l'agriculture où le business donc est au centre. Donc c'est produire pour vendre, pour gagner plus de revenus. Donc c'est juste une sorte d'indication pour vous, mais je pense que nous aurons un temps donc pour échanger plus si besoin d'informations. Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup. Oui, sur le guichet foncier, c'est vraiment une expérience très, très intéressante pour contourner justement pour à la fois avoir de la souplesse dans l'accès au droit et suffisamment de respect des droits, mais sans non plus être trop bloquant dans la dynamique, et c'est assez intéressant. L'expérience malgache est assez connue dans ces questions-là et mérite un intérêt particulier, quoi. Voilà. Donc, et merci d'avoir tenu le temps aussi. Voilà. On en vient à la dernière illustration, au dernier témoignage en fait de politique et d'initiative spécifiques sur le thème, par Monsieur Toulos Boston-Baev, qui est donc coordinateur au sein du syndicat des associations d'utilisateurs d'eau au Kyrgyzstan. Donc on se déplace à nouveau sur la planète. Voilà. Et de la même façon, sur cette question spécifique du coup des associations d'usagers de l'eau, quelles sont les mesures qui sont prises de façon concrète? C'est bien on continue à dérouler des actions très concrètes. Voilà. Et vous avez également 6 minutes. À vous.
Thank you, John, for your question and giving me opportunity to share ideas from Central Asia, from Kyrgyzstan. The family farmers in Kyrgyzstan are playing the key role. Why? Because 98% of food production relies on the family farmers in Kyrgyzstan. And if we say about the natural resources, the water is the main problem in Kyrgyzstan due to climate change. Our country has 1.4 million hectares of arable lands. Out of 80% out of it has access to water, and 20% relies only in rainfall. So out of this 1.4 million hectares of land, 90% of land owned by the private sector, which is 75 goes to the family farmers and 15 goes to the big cooperatives and farmer organizations. So which means only 10% owned by the government, which is maybe that's why the state owns, that's why often our government focuses only on big infrastructures like canals and reservoirs and less on direct farmers support. As I said, climate change makes these issues even worse year by year. In the south part of Kyrgyzstan, our farmers face water shortages every summer. To survive, our family farmers, they, by their own money, they transition from the old-fashioned way of the irrigation to the new ways of irrigation, like drip irrigation systems and all other new technologies like rain type of irrigation. They build their own small artificial water reservoirs, ponds. They also switching from the old-fashioned way crops to the more climate resilient crops. In last couple of years, they're also trying to use these kind of techniques where they put shade nets on top of their farms, so while irrigating, the water will not evaporate very fast. These are the solutions from our farmers, and if we say about the solutions from the government, luckily, year by year, they're investing a lot of money to the
So just, well, we have to train our English all together and, and listen to him in English for the moment, or because I think the technical problem is quite an issue. So sorry, but we continue in English.
Yeah, I will try to use the simple words. Yeah, the shade nets, yeah, and then slower. Thank you. So, as I said, the government is also doing its best to help to our farmers. They are investing a lot of money in a couple of years. They're multiplying into, like, if I say in 2020, they invested only 300 million soms, which is, if you convert it in dollars, is very small amount. But in a couple of years back, like in 2024 and 2025, they're already investing billions of soms to our irrigation system in Kyrgyzstan, which is still not enough, because as per the World Bank, we need at least $800 million to renovate all the water canals in Kyrgyzstan. So, which means overall, all our family farmers are basically relies on their own support. To be short, there are three, I believe, solutions from the government also and also from the family farmers. The first one is the stronger rights to the water, investment on climate-smart irrigation, and dialogue between government and the farmers. For the last one, I would also add that in Kyrgyzstan we have the National Committee on Family Farmers, where we represent each and every single sectors of all Kyrgyzstan. There are water users, forest and land users, there are pasture users, there are fisheries. And this is our national committee playing role of bridge between the rural areas to the government, where the normal small family farmers can be also a decision makers in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this focus on water linked to climate change. We are now reaching the third part of our session. That is to say, to have the reaction of all this panel before you have the floor and before you can ask your question and give your inputs. I would like to invite on the scene. There are two rooms for that. First, Ms. Sandra Elizabeth Baez Gonzalez, de la Via Campesina, very well-known union from farmers, from peasants. And also to the PAFO, so the Pan-African Farmer Organization, which is represented there by Baba Femi Oyewole. Please come on the stage. So translation is back, so that's good news. Alors je reprends en français. Toujours la diversité, c'est mieux. Voilà. Donc l'idée là de cette session-là, et chacun aura 6 minutes en fait de leur perspective, c'est assez libre, à la fois de réagir sur ce qui vient d'être dit en termes de réaction sur ces éléments concrets de politique, mais aussi peut-être, s'ils le souhaitent, de donner leur avis sur le... Voilà. On a beaucoup parlé d'associer la société civile et les organisations de producteurs à la construction des politiques agricoles. Donc voilà. Donc on va écouter ces deux représentants d'agriculteurs familiaux et on va commencer du coup par Madame Baez Gonzalez de la Via Campesina. 6 minutes aussi.
Mi nombre es Sandra Baez, en representación de la Vía Campesina Paraguay. Cuando hablamos de agricultura familiar campesina, no solo es producción o cadena de valor, es seguridad alimentaria, defensa de los territorios...
Speak in the mic.
Ahí sí ya me escuchan, perdón. Sandra Baez de la Vía Campesina Paraguay. Cuando hablamos de agricultura familiar campesina, no es solo hablar de producción o cadena de valor,
es hablar de seguridad alimentaria, defensa de los territorios, economía local. La misma es fundamental para la sostenibilidad de las familias agricultoras. En Sudamérica, la agricultura familiar representa más del 70% de producción de alimentos en toda la región. En Paraguay, provee la mayor parte de los alimentos que se consumen en el país, garantizando el acceso a alimentos sanos y frescos. Se estima que el 42% de la población que vive en el área rural se dedica a esta actividad. En el contexto actual que existen muchos desafíos en nuestro país para la agricultura familiar campesina. Uno de los problemas fundamentales es el acceso a la tierra. Las tierras están altamente concentradas en manos de unos pocos. Para la agricultura familiar queda dividido una parte para muchos campesinos y la mayor parte de los campesinos estamos sin tierra, incluyéndome. Esta desigualdad trae consigo el avance del agronegocio, el monocultivo y el uso desmedido y sin control de agrotóxicos que están destruyendo toda la diversidad existente en nuestros territorios. Otro desafío visibilizado es el impacto diferenciado que recae sobre las mujeres campesinas e indígenas. Sobrecarga de trabajo, acceso desigual, violencia ambiental, entre otras. También tenemos un desafío importante en el marco legal. Aunque existan leyes y programas que fomenten e impulsan la agricultura familiar en Paraguay, las mismas son deficientes, ya que cuentan con presupuestos ínfimos y recursos insuficientes para responder a todas las necesidades con las que se cuenta. Esto menciono porque no solo sirve aprobar las leyes o crear programas para que haya cambio real, se necesita destinar todos los recursos para que sea equitativo y llegue a todas las familias agricultoras. Frente a estos desafíos, desde la Vía Campesina País y las organizaciones vemos indispensable trabajar en algunos aspectos, como la reforma agraria integral y redistributiva, el acceso y distribución justa a la tierra, la agricultura familiar como pilar de la soberanía alimentaria, visibilizar el trabajo de las mujeres, tanto productiva como reproductiva, apoyando con crédito, formación, programas, buscando la autonomía de las mismas. Trabajar la agroecología como modelo alternativo, promoviendo prácticas sostenibles y respetuosas con la diversidad y el medio ambiente, preservando los conocimientos ancestrales. La gestión comunitaria y gestión del agua con tecnología sostenible. Protección de territorios indígenas y campesinas, promoviendo leyes locales. La creación de mercados locales, ferias, cooperativas y apoyo en la planificación de las fincas de los productores y diversificando la producción. Todo esto se debe aplicar desde las políticas públicas, ya sea en la planificación, implementación y evaluación de las mismas, para que participen todos los actores. Y quiero cerrar con una frase: sembramos soberanía cosechando derechos. Gracias.
Merci, c'est donc du coup des recommandations aux décideurs publics, plus que des réactions à ce qui s'était dit dans le panel. Voilà. On note quand même encore une fois la question de la réforme agraire, la question de l'accès à la terre comme point de départ en fait pour développer ensuite des politiques, qu'elles soient agroécologiques, qu'elles soient ailleurs, mais avec cette dimension-là qui reste très très présente, en particulier dans vos contextes. Voilà, donc je donne la parole maintenant à Babafemi Oyewole pour son point de vue aussi depuis le continent africain.
Thank you very much, moderator. And also I want to thank the panelists for how they have really spoken about the challenges that farmers are facing. And I want to thank the organizers for inviting the Pan-African Farmers Organization to participate in this very important discourse. Let me maybe some of you do not know about Pan-African Farmers Organization, just a second. Pan-African Farmers Organization is a continental platform that brings together 5 regional farmers organizations with 50 national farmers organizations in 50 countries in Africa. We are engaged in policy, advocacy, knowledge management, capacity building, and partnership development to ensure that farmers' voices are heard on policies that concern them. Now, to the farmers' perspective, in policy solutions for family farming, access and management of natural resources. First, as has been demonstrated and been seen here, we should recognize family farming as the backbone of food systems. That is, they produce 80% of global food. So we think that this important constituency should be given priority in the access and management of natural resources. By natural resources, we mean land, water, soil, biodiversity, which are the lifeline of family farmers. And as farmers, the question we are asking, are policies truly securing our access and empowering sustainable management? And has been identified by the panelists, the key challenges that we see are land tenure insecurity, that is limited recognition of customary rights, especially for women and youths. Water competition between industry and agriculture, and the smallholder farmers are always left behind in the competition. And soil degradation. We see a lot of subsidies being given to fertilizers, inorganic fertilizers that also degrade the soil and making it unsustainable for farming. And seed and biodiversity restrictions that is giving a shrinking space for farmers' rights to save and to share their seeds. And what are the policy solutions that FAO is advocating for? Number one is secure tenure and fair land practices. We see that in most countries, the women farmers, youths, they do not have the right to farm lands, and so that they can even use it as security to have credit from the financial institutions. Number two is inclusive governance. Farmers' organizations must be at the table when policies about land and water and forests are being developed and implemented. Also, we are advocating for sustainable financing. That is, subsidies should be shifted towards agroecology, irrigation, soil restoration, and climate finance. Another thing we are advocating is gender and youth equity, equal rights to land, to credit, to participation, and empower our youths, which constitute the largest segment of our population, with innovation. Also, finally, is knowledge and extension. We want farmer-led research, peer-to-peer learning, community-driven solutions, and also we also support dialogues like this that will discuss these issues and make it available for the implementation by the public sector. In the decade of family farming, frameworks exist, but national implementation must be farmer-led. Monitoring must include farmers' voices and local evidence, and partnerships between governments, civil society organizations, private sector, and the farmers' organizations are essential for impact. And my closing reflection is that family farmers are more than food producers. We are custodians of natural resources. Policies must empower us to safeguard them for today and for the future generations. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup. Tout de même, ce qui était pareil, des recommandations plutôt politiques publiques que des réactions, voilà. Mais quand même, moi, ce qui a dans ce qui a été présenté plus tôt, Enfin, il y a quand même une convergence aussi, il y a quand même des politiques publiques qui se mettent en place et qui voilà. Donc c'est important aussi, je pense, au-delà de documenter un peu cet ensemble de politiques publiques. Et la journée d'aujourd'hui est importante pour ça aussi. Voilà. Et sur le foncier qui revient tout le temps, sur l'accès à la terre, hein, qui est tout de suite traduit sur les questions de politique de land tenure, d'accès à la terre, je voudrais juste faire un encart et un peu de teasing et de publicité pour un rapport qui va sortir et qui va être délivré pendant le CFS là, sur le Global Land Observatory, et qui va un peu faire le point, parce que finalement on voit que, et là dans les discussions on le voit, que finalement à qui appartient la terre, qui la gère, et comment est-ce qu'on identifie qui peut effectivement bénéficier de politiques publiques là-dessus, c'est pas si clair que ça. Et un paysage global sur qui possède la terre et comment elle se répartit et qui peut agir sur la terre, ce rapport-là va présenter ça et pourrait être assez intéressant, donc je vous le conseille quand il sera là. Bref, ça c'était un petit encart. On en vient maintenant à une phase de discussion, d'échange. Voilà, par rapport à ce qui s'est dit, à la fois la présentation, le cadrage global avec cette idée de résilience transformative équitable autour des vulnérabilités, les exemples de politiques publiques assez concrètes développées sur place et la réaction des organisations paysannes. Voilà, vous avez la parole pour un petit échange. Soyez brefs et concis dans vos interventions. Voilà, vous pouvez adresser donc soit des avis que vous avez des déclarations que vous voulez faire, soit des questions directement ciblées de précision pour les panélistes, qui sont nombreux. Voilà, vous avez donc la parole. Si vous la souhaitez. Mais vous la souhaitez, je pense. Oui. Deux.
Speak in English. Good morning. I'm Khalid Khawaldi, the Global Coordinator of World Alliance Mobile Indigenous Peoples and Pastoralists. I don't know if I think it is missed from the representative of Kyrgyzstan. Don't remember the name. I'm sorry. Because we met some of the family farmers in your country, and they talked about something very interesting, which is the glaciers dams. And I think it is very important technique that need to be promoted with other countries. If you can talk a little bit. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for the good presentation. I think learningful presentations by the different countries. I do believe, based on the different experiences coming up from the ground, how the farmers could be real contributors to formalization of policies. That's very important. But from the experience that we shared in Cairo during our last meeting, it's very important for the local farmers and family farmers to have their own spaces, their own voice spaces and power spaces, their own organizations. So by this way, they can be real contributors during the discussions on the relevant policies. And by this way, they are able to influence positively. That is the possibility. The other challenge are these local forums, organizations of farmers are able to develop their own strategies for policy influencing and advocating their rights. That's another challenge. And that could be actually part of our future plan at the global level, in the regional level, how we can enhance not only the resilience, the transformative resilience of the local communities, family farmers, but also their organizational and institutional abilities in order to influence the relevant policies, and also are able to advocate their rights as family farmers. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for the very interesting presentations. My name is Morten Hartwies, and I'm Land Tenure Officer at the FAO Regional Office for Europe and Central Asia. And I was very pleased to see that the importance of access to land was mentioned by several of the speakers. And I have a question, and I think it will mainly be for Cesar Aldrich from Brazil, but maybe also from the representative from Paraguay about the redistributive land reform. I think that is the key here is where do we get the land from that we will distribute? So somebody already owns this land and has big possessions. What are the policies that the state can use? And if there are good experiences on this, it would be maybe very interesting for us to hear. How do the state get access to the land that needs to be distributed or redistributed to small family farms, young farmers, and the landless, as we heard? Thank you.
Yes. Andrea Ferrante, Scuola Campesina, International Agroecology School. So thanks so much, first of all, for the presentation of the HLP report, because this is something that shows in a very clear way where we need to go for sustainable food system and resilient. We need to have this in mind, because family farming plays a central role there. So this is something that we need to have this clear in mind. And if we want to have sustainable management of natural resources policies, traditional and local knowledge is key. And it's clear something that it's missing. There is not enough policy to support traditional and local knowledge to integrate this essential knowledge in our policies. And how to give space to this knowledge, how to support this knowledge, how give us the possibility to transfer this knowledge in a context of family farming where family itself, they are changing. So those are extremely important elements because we need to keep the control of the knowledge, because family farming without knowledge is nothing. It's just a supplier of the agro-industrial model. So we need to keep the knowledge in our hands. How to do that? It's something that we need to increase in terms of policies. And thank you so much if you help us in that.
Hakim Madiraine from Uganda and from Eastern Southern Africa Small Scale Farmers Forum, a small scale family farmer as well. Out from the panelists, I heard almost each of you recommending investment in agroecology, and some countries also looking at mainstream agroecology at national level in their policy framework. I would like to hear from Brazil, and maybe the keynote speaker. Brazil is one of the countries where monocropping and large-scale farming is happening. And we're also praising it for the promotion of family farming as one of the examples. I would like to learn if you also believe that agroecology can be done on large scale like the other side. And if so, why is there minimal investment in upscaling agroecology, which we know that is the resilient way of producing safe food, but also protecting our ecosystem and also to avoid biodiversity loss. Thank you.
Another one, and after un prochain, et puis ensuite un petit tour.
Buenas. Ero Pérez de República Dominicana y del PDR, del Programa de Diálogo Regional Rural. Agradecer este evento. Creemos que hay un antes y un después del año de la agricultura familiar, que hay que recordarlo porque nos trajo el decenio de la agricultura familiar. Y hoy en día se habla de esa agricultura y se ha importantizado, y por eso se ha reconocido. Tanto la representante de República Dominicana decía que hace falta más, que es insuficiente y eso se ha demostrado. Pero el hecho de que estemos acá y que se hayan impulsado planes y programas desde las organizaciones de agricultura familiar, me parece que ha sido un avance. El diálogo, la propuesta, pero sigue siendo insuficiente. A mí me gustaría saber en términos del estatus legal de la tierra, que sé que hay en alguna parte que eso sirve como obstáculo para poder accesar a otras políticas que son necesarias para poder impulsar y desarrollar la zona rural. ¿Cuánto?
Okay, on va peut-être prendre une dernière alors, et ensuite on fait une série de réponses, enfin de réponses, de réactions.
Je réponds au nom de Lawani Aruna, je suis le vice-président du ROPA, entendez le réseau ouest africain des organisations paysannes et des producteurs agricoles. J'ai entendu les présentateurs et j'avoue très sincèrement que j'ai été impressionné par la qualité de leur présentation. Mais il faut reconnaître qu'aujourd'hui, quand on parle d'agriculture familiale, l'agriculture familiale elle-même se trouve à la croisée des chemins. Les mutations sont là qui nous attendent. Il faut reconnaître que la plupart des thématiques qui sont développées juste là, que ce soit dans les plans de la décennie et autres, montrent de plus en plus leur insuffisance et leur incapacité à combler effectivement les attentes. Je m'attendais à entendre quelques thématiques qui ne sont pas ressorties, mais qui sont des thématiques clés. Entre autres, la question des connaissances paysannes. La connaissance des les connaissances paysannes doivent être au cœur de tout ce que nous sommes en train de faire ici. Et quand on parle de connaissances paysannes, ce qu'il faut mettre aussi à côté de ça en même temps, c'est les questions de la reconnaissance des semences paysannes. Quand il n'y a pas de semences, il n'y a pas d'agriculture. Les semences sont en amont et en aval de toute agriculture. Et à cet effet, je souhaiterais que ces questions-là soient effectivement repensées, qu'on puisse en discuter et qu'on puisse effectivement tirer l'essentiel de cela. L'autre problème, c'est la question de la relève agricole. Quand on parle d'agriculture familiale aujourd'hui, la plupart de ceux qui s'adonnent, de nous qui nous adonnons à cette agriculture, on a déjà dépassé la soixantaine. La question de la relève, c'est-à-dire des jeunes qui doivent effectivement aller à l'agriculture familiale se pose avec acuité, sans reléguer au deuxième rang la préoccupation des questions des femmes aussi qui jouent un rôle important. Puis, je profite même de cette séance pour partager avec vous une boutade de l'ancien président tanzanien Julius Nyerere qui dit ceci, et je cite, il dit l'argent ne fait pas le développement. L'argent est une conséquence du développement et non son fondement. Les 4 fondements du développement sont l'homme, la terre, une justice équitable et une bonne gouvernance. À travers cela, la préoccupation que je veux ressortir, c'est la question du financement même de l'agriculture familiale. L'agriculture familiale aujourd'hui de par le monde est bel et bien financée par les agriculteurs familiaux eux-mêmes. C'est une hérésie, ce n'est pas normal. Il faut nécessairement que la question du financement de cette agriculture soit effectivement repensée et qu'on étudie en même temps aussi la question de ce qu'on appelle la justice sociale. La justice sociale et l'équité sociale, effectivement, doivent revenir pour redonner à l'agriculteur familial, effectivement, tout son rôle et toute la place qu'il doit occuper dans la société. Je vais m'en arrêter là d'abord. Merci.
Mais bon. Merci beaucoup pour ce plaidoyer et ces mots. On va peut-être, il y a déjà des éléments là des gens qui ont été interpellés. Donc sans vouloir, j'espère que j'oublierai rien, mais il y a quand même l'idée de l'action publique en fait et de la capacité de répondre sur les questions foncières. Là, peut-être que c'est une question qui pourrait être adressée au Brésil. Et à Madagascar aussi, il y a des questions très précises sur la tenure foncière et sur les leviers qu'il peut y avoir là-dessus. Donc peut-être revenir sur cette question-là. Là, qui sont ressortis, c'est quand même une question sur les savoirs locaux et indigènes et sur leur absence en fait dans le débat là. Donc peut-être ça donne une occasion, et ça a été rappelé par deux personnes, donc ce serait peut-être l'occasion de ceux qui veulent en reparler. Et effectivement, dans le rapport HLPE en tout cas, la question des savoirs locaux est au cœur aussi des questions de résilience et la transformation de ces savoirs aussi, qui ne sont pas juste des savoirs figés dans le marbre, mais qui bougent aussi, qui changent aussi, qui évoluent et qui s'adaptent et du coup qui font partie de la résilience. Peut-être qu'il y aura, soit Ian Wright, soit d'autres pourront peut-être revenir là-dessus. Je vais laisser la parole voilà. Et puis il y a quand même une question sur le c'est beaucoup, hein, ça a été noté, mais ce n'est pas assez. Donc peut-être aussi le retour des gens sur le fait pourquoi est-ce que c'est pas plus que ça qui pourrait revenir. Voilà. Et dernier point qui vient d'être mentionné, la question qui était un peu aveugle aussi sur la question du renouvellement des agricultures familiales. On a parlé de renforcement des capacités, etc., mais qui n'est pas ressorti là, qui pourrait être aussi un des éléments de réponse. Donc je ne sais pas les panélistes qui veut répondre. Il y avait des questions directement pour le Brésil quand même, pour César. Donc voilà. Go ahead.
Ok. Primeiro, sobre a questão da terra. Quais são as terras, se essas terras estão desocupadas, quais formas de obtenção. No Brasil, nós temos, como eu tentei relatar de forma breve, uma situação de uma grande concentração de terra na mão de poucos e um grande número de agricultores reivindicando a terra, além de um grande número de agricultores familiares que ocupam um pequeno percentual do território do Brasil. Bom, o grande desafio de retomar a reforma agrária no Brasil no último mandato do presidente Lula foi fazer um diagnóstico de quais terras existem e qual a perspectiva de efetivamente permitir o acesso à terra ao maior número de pessoas. O presidente Lula, através de um decreto, organizou o programa chamado Programa Terra da Gente. Ele organiza 17 formas de obtenção de terras, com uma leitura de que, em função do que o colega da África colocou, a presença da monocultura, do agronegócio, da produção de soja e outros produtos, o preço da terra duplicou nos últimos anos. Então, o decreto do presidente Lula procura organizar, primeiro, em função do preço da terra, as dificuldades orçamentárias. Uma possibilidade é o governo adquirir a terra, comprar com recursos públicos para aquelas famílias que reivindicam aquele território. Então, há amparo legal para aquisição, para compra. Limitante, preço da terra e recursos orçamentários. Mas nós estamos tratando de compra nos últimos anos de 2023, 2024 e este ano. Nós adquirimos terra para situações de extremos conflitos, onde há uma situação que não há possibilidade de negociar entre aquele que reivindica a terra e aquele que é o dono da terra. Então, são situações em que juridicamente está instalado que aquela terra existe um proprietário e dele o governo adquire. Outra possibilidade são o que nos prevê a lei para desapropriação em caso de não cumprimento da função social da terra ou de questões ambientais, da legislação ambiental ou de relações trabalhistas. Temos vários processos em andamento para desapropriação por esse fim. Outra situação é desapropriação por interesse social direto do presidente da República em situações que há conflito e não há como você verificar a função social. Então, você desapropria por interesse daquelas pessoas, caracteriza que ali tem um conjunto de pessoas que necessitam da terra, instruímos o processo no INCRA, levamos ao presidente da República, passa por toda a avaliação jurídica, tivemos 7 decretos este ano de 2025. Outra grande espaço a ser explorado são das terras públicas. Terras que estão públicas sob gestão do governo federal e de governos dos estados e municípios. Só na região da Amazônia Legal, nós assentamos em projetos agroextrativistas e projetos de desenvolvimento sustentável em terras públicas, em 23 e 24, 30 mil famílias na região amazônica, região onde se concentram mais de 51 milhões de hectares de terra pública ainda não destinada. Aí a sua pergunta, essa terra está desocupada? Não. Essa terra, o governo tem que avaliar, chamar os proprietários, negociar e estabelecer os limites legais de terra para cada um. Então, são 17 formas de obtenção, é necessário que o Estado planeje, nós estamos nessa fase, assentamos 140 mil famílias, estamos em processo de obtenção de mais 20 mil famílias até final do ano, e é um pouco esse trabalho, estudo, debate, levantamento, identificação de quem está ocupando a terra, seja legalmente ou de forma irregular, e estabelecer aí um processo para aquisição da terra e destinação na forma jurídica mais segura para aquela comunidade que está entrando. Basicamente isso, há um grande número de proprietários de terra que devem para a União. Então, o governo, é uma outra forma prevista, que é a dação em pagamento de dívidas ao governo, portanto, você não precisaria de orçamento, e também terras que foram adquiridas por agentes financeiros, Banco do Brasil, bancos públicos, empresas públicas, que podem destinar a reforma agrária a partir deste decreto. Basicamente isso, não é uma tarefa simples, é complicado, mas precisa muito planejamento e organização de políticas públicas. O primeiro tema, posso tratar da agroecologia? O nosso...
Et un autre, peut-être un autre panéliste pourra parler de l'agroécologie pour essayer de redonner la parole. Mais on voit que techniquement, on voit que les réponses, enfin, on voit que le débat peut vite devenir technique, et c'est important que le débat se technicise aussi sur ces questions-là, parce que les leviers, ils sont aussi dans la technicité des choses. Difficile de vous couper, mais voilà. Est-ce que quelqu'un d'autre veut aborder les questions-là? Ouais, sur Madagascar? Il y avait l'agroécologie, effectivement, aussi, mais qui était très liée à ces questions de savoir locaux aussi.
Pour Madagascar, donc, je voulais rebondir au sujet tout à l'heure. Pourquoi pas, il n'y a pas de rencontre spécialement agriculture familiale. Et aussi, donc, sur les questions sur la connaissance traditionnelle. Nous, donc, à Madagascar, nous avons de la chance d'avoir un comité national de l'agriculture familiale déjà 10 ans, en 2015, et qui est en permanence dialogue entre agriculteurs. Et par rapport au contexte actuel, qui a le changement climatique qui a réduit un peu la production, il y a aussi la croissance démographique qui augmente donc les consommateurs. En ce moment, donc, au niveau du CNAF Malagas, ils sont en train de monter ou de créer donc une loi foncière qui tend surtout à faciliter l'accès à la terre et aussi donc sur la sécurisation foncière. De l'autre côté, par rapport au schéma de la structuration actuelle du monde rural à Madagascar, il y a les organisations paysannes au niveau national qu'on appelle organisations paysannes fêtières, qui regroupent donc pas mal d'organisations paysannes dans les régions, dans les communes et même au niveau des villages. Néanmoins, donc, il y a encore pas mal de paysans, des agriculteurs qui sont en dehors de cette structure. Et ce que va faire, puisque bientôt, donc, actuellement, on est en train de préparer une sorte de rencontre avec les agriculteurs familiaux et on essaie d'avoir les agriculteurs familiaux de base qui sont donc en dehors de ces structures. L'idée est d'avoir plus d'éléments par rapport au contexte des agriculteurs familiaux de base pour mieux donc définir les politiques et pour avoir le maximum d'éléments pour savoir la réalité des agriculteurs de base. Donc, pour vous dire que il faut vraiment donc considérer ces connaissances pour avancer ensemble, donc gouvernement et agriculteurs. Merci.
Merci. D'autres réactions des panélistes? Allons-y. Ouais.
Okay. Thank you very much. In terms of land, there are recent challenges that we are facing in Africa, and that is the challenge of land grabbing. That is displacing family farmers. And we see that our governments, maybe in a quest to look for investments, are yielding ground to these multinationals who are coming to grab the land. And I think that what they should do, because we have a large land that is not cultivable, I think the government should, when these investors are coming, they should take them to those areas so that they can go and reclaim those lands and use it for their investment, rather than displacing the smallholder farmers who are already penalized because of lack of land rights and lack of adequate land for their production. So this is a challenge that we are facing in Africa, and we are advocating that government should prioritize the smallholder farmers and the family farmers rather than focusing on this large that want to grab the lands. Thanks.
So two speaks again, perhaps from the water, from three of you. First you, after Jan Red, and after the La Via Campesina. And if you want to conclude.
Algo súper concreto nomás quiero.
Well, it's okay. Go ahead.
Sí, perdón. Algo súper concreto de la pregunta que le hicieron a Paraguay y Brasil era sobre la reforma agraria integral y redistributiva, ¿verdad? Nosotros en Paraguay, desde las organizaciones, lo que proponemos es, solicitamos que las tierras malavidas que fueron adquiridas y ocupadas durante la dictadura y que están sin títulos de propiedad, que esas tierras se destinen a las organizaciones campesinas, ¿verdad? A los agricultores campesinos. Y en la actualidad también algo nuevo es el tema de las tierras que se incautan del narcotráfico. Actualmente en Paraguay hay 150.000 hectáreas de tierras que fueron incautados del narcotráfico y las mismas el gobierno está subastando, están vendiendo otra vez y compran otras grandes empresas o grandes productores otra vez y no se está distribuyendo a los agricultores familiares, ¿verdad? Entonces pedimos y estamos tratando de hacer incidencia con el Congreso y para presentar esa ley y solicitar aunque sea que el 40% se destine a la agricultura familiar. Eso nomás era la respuesta a una pregunta. Gracias.
Merci. Donc encore deux réactions de nos panélistes et ensuite on va devoir conclure.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to respond to the gentleman on the artificial water glaciers. I think it is going to be very interesting for the audience. Why? Because this is another, I can say, very good practice in Kyrgyzstan that helps to our family farmers, but not only family farmers, but also to herders and the wild animals in the mountains. The artificial water glaciers are made in the very difficult to go in the mountains, I can say. And there are a lot of water springs, which is unfortunately uselessly goes to some other part of the mountain. So what we do, we just redirect that water spring to those lands where we need water, and it comes by the gravitation down, and it does not need electricity or any kind of pumping machines. And once it goes down, it's by the gravity. There is also another kind of pipe which takes water top and then it springs. So during summer, our family farmers, not from the flatland, but from the forest and mountainous areas, they can use those water and for their livestock plus the wild animals, and can also use those water which affects the biodiversity in that land. Plus during winter, it creates, it's freezing and it creates artificial glaciers. So for instance, in the Balkan region, we have 7 artificial glaciers which already accumulated 1.5 million cubic meters of ice, which is very good. Why? Because our glaciers are not growing on. It's only melting and it's becoming small, so we need to also at least create the artificial glaciers. So far we have 30 artificial glaciers in all Kyrgyzstan, and it is mainly because of huge support of FAO, and it is implemented by our partners in Kyrgyzstan, which is Pasture User Association and the Forest and Land User Association. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup. Un dernier mot de Monsieur Wright? Mike.
No, sorry. I want to address your question on farmers' knowledge, local knowledge, indigenous knowledge, which is really, really important. And I want to address it at 2 levels. If we start with the international level, we have mechanisms for that. They're not perfect, but I think they're reasonable. Within the Committee of World Food Security, there is the civil society and indigenous peoples mechanism, which is very active, and La Via Campesina is a key player in that forum. So we do get the voices at the global level. That's very helpful to the HLPE, and the CSIPM is very active in responding to consultations, reports, and so on. But I think there's a challenge when you get down to regional and national level. I think there's a real challenge there. We struggle to get responses to our reports, responses to our consultations from national organizations and local organizations for multiple reasons that we know about. So I think there's a real challenge there. And I was very pleased to hear the example of Madagascar, where Madagascar is specifically reaching out to family farmers whose voices are not normally heard, because that's really important. I don't have an answer to that yet, but the next report the HLP will produce in 2026 is specifically on indigenous knowledge, and I think that will be an opportunity, as that report is being drafted, to take a deeper dive into some of those questions. And how do we support knowledge from different communities, different stakeholders? How do we get access to it? How do we hear it? And how do we take account of it? So if you can wait another 12 months, we may have some more information on that topic in about a year from now. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup. Vous voulez dire un mot? Voilà. On conclut comme ça, on fait le tour des panélistes. Et ensuite, j'aurai 2 mots d'annonce. Ouais.
Yeah, because there is no specific question for me, so I try to conclude this conversation. First one, if we need to have the national action plan to give us the guideline how to give the right intervention to the family farmer. And then we need to choose the right institution to lead the development of this national action plan. Because back then in 2018, from our experience in Indonesia, the development of first phase of the national action plan is led by Ministry of Agriculture. And that national policy is not have a strong support from another ministry, because we know that agriculture cannot be solved only by agricultural sector, but it is need support from another sector. Like we need support from Ministry of Public Works to develop the irrigation and road and extra. So since 2022, Bapenas, who have mandate to develop the national planning, try to lead the development of this national action plan, so we can gather all the line ministry to support the empowerment of the family farming. So, and the last one is the political will from our lead is important because as I mentioned before that Indonesia already have several regulations about the family farming, but if we have the political will from our government, the support for family farming can be more stronger. Yeah, thank you.
Merci beaucoup. On arrive à la fin de cette table ronde. Moi, je suis un peu de l'histoire de l'année internationale de l'agriculture familiale et la décennie après. Je trouve que plus on avance dans la décennie, c'est pour ça que c'est bien aussi d'avoir cette décennie, c'est donner du temps. Plus on rentre dans des questions très techniques en fait sur les solutions et sur les politiques et sur la mise en œuvre. On voit bien que ça ouvre des champs très très vastes et que c'est ce genre de réunion-là est très importante pour faire le point là-dessus, mais renvoie toujours, et ça s'est vu aujourd'hui, on est tous frustrés parce que chaque fois ça rentre dans le détail des politiques agricoles et c'est tout un jeu très fin de dentelle qui se crée et qui nécessite ça. Mais on est dans le sujet là, forcément, et là c'est vraiment très bien de faire ça, et on voit la difficulté qu'il y a à mettre l'agriculture familiale au cœur et toutes les difficultés que ça pose à différents niveaux. Mais en tout cas, parler des solutions, on voit comment ça peut être efficace pour tirer les fils. Voilà, on est tous un peu frustrés, mais j'ai deux annonces à faire. D'abord, la discussion va continuer cet après-midi, donc on peut se retrouver à 14 h ici pour une deuxième session, où la résilience sera aussi au cœur des discussions, et on aura aussi d'autres solutions qui seront présentées, et d'autres réactions à ces discussions. C'est la formule choisie. Et deuxième annonce, il y a une photo de groupe à l'extérieur de la salle maintenant, à laquelle vous êtes chaleureusement conviés. Voilà. Je vous remercie beaucoup à tous. Merci beaucoup à tous les panélistes d'être venus de si loin et d'avoir des présentations aussi concrètes et aussi précises, d'avoir bien joué le jeu du temps à peu près. Voilà, et cet équilibre entre perspectives très de praticiens, de développeurs et une perspective plus globale avec le HLPE m'a semblé très utile. Voilà. Je vous remercie beaucoup et donc rendez-vous pour la photo dehors. Merci.